As you can see there, for the running the Jayco Bendigo Cup. There is number 3 there, Fumicino. It's not a race for a while, old Fu, but that's a good way of saying it. Yep. Okay, let's try and find some mounting yard here with Fumicino, who's now at 55 kilos.
Morning, I thought, gee, that's flash. It is very flash.
Showing off down there, Shane. Showing off there. Let's move up here for the Cup. What's the last crack of the betting here?
Jumped away well near the out.
No.
Puissance Staloon jumped away well near the outside with Fumicino. Heaven's Riches goes across the heels of the field in the early stages, and also doing that was Fantastic Porsche. And Zuma Rock and Miss With Attitude are the first couple to show out with Fumicino, and now going up Puissance Staloon. The grey's going to be a part of the lead down towards the judge, and Sky Raiders just off them. But Fumicino went over and he took Puissance Staloon with him, and they settled 1-2. Zuma Rock next. And still at the end is May the Horse Be Magic. Haven't been much change past the 800 down the side. Fumicino tries to do it all. Puissance Staloon a half length away, and then Zuma Rock as they neared the 600 in the home turn. Miss With Attitude next, and then Practiced. He's starting to work home. He's getting off the fence. He's left Sky Raider behind, and then Diamonds at Noon and Spachenko. Silence around a long way back. Puissance Staloon is after Fumicino, and he travelled beautifully at the home turn. They're followed by Practice now in the clear down the outside. Puissance Staloon gets for home in the Bendigo Cup. Open 3 lengths to Practice. Fumicino, then Miss With Attitude. The rest aren't doing enough at all. Puissance Staloon down past the 200. He's gone out 4 to 5 lengths, got it wrapped up from Practiced. And back behind those horses, Miss With Attitude and Fumicino, but Puissance Staloon in for Glen Boss, won it by 7 lengths. Held. Practiced and Fumicino in a bobber for second and third. Miss With Attitude next, and then came Silence Around Spachenko.
So good, G-Boss, isn't he? Everyone had that in the speed maps back. Midfield at best. Bossy sums up no speed in the race. Sit outside Fumicino. Well, he wins by 7, Bossy, and Fumicino runs second from Practice. Nothing from back here. That's why he's the best in the business right now in Australia, G-Boss. Time to post the photo, wave for the crowd, sign an autograph, and think about next week.
Okay, you can give Bossy the rap. I'm going to give now Darren Weir a huge rap. He was given a mission. He said he'd set it for 6 months, as asked. And if you've ever seen a horse peak for a race and produce his absolute best, Sammy, that was it. It was never
get another final, and he just showed that how well the horse he did with the horse.
And takes back to win the Horse
Bendigo Cup this year, and Dean Lester always said that next year we'll have a tilt at the Cup.
Well, he's on track. Good on you, Jerry. Enjoy it.
That's a dream, Bruce, but
the hang of it, he'll race a lot better. And the fact that the experience under its belt last start will make a huge difference.
The Derby, it's a done deal. I wasn't at Moonee Valley on Saturday last to see, and they told me
massive week.
It's a big week also for Greg Miles, who is recognised as Australia's #1 race caller. He's never let us down when it comes to the calling of the big races here at Flemington. Let's bid him a very good morning on Derby Day.
Underway. Derby Day at Flemington, and they're off and racing. Caught them in a good line. Maybe Alanine a little slow. Steep pinged away. Proto got away quickly. And also Tatra from on the outside is going forward, trying to cross over and find the lead. He's doing a fair bit of work there, but he's getting up to join Proto on the inside, and Crystal Webb will settle down third. Alanine is fourth up the rear. Union Gap and Proverb last on the inside. Proto is fighting against the rider here. He wants to go a lot quicker than Ben Mellon would allow. At the 800 metres, he led 3/4. Tatra running second. Then there's a length and a half away to Steep third on the inside, and Crystal Webb 1.5 further back. Alanine is also fired up, and going around the outside, Luna Rise. So a few of these are really running their races quite raggedly as they come to the home turn, where Tatra dashes to the lead now. Into the straight in the Carbine Club, and it's a Proverb trying to get through on the inside, but still giving them a start, where Tatra hits the lead. Crystal Webb running on. Steep on the inside, and Pronto down the outside. Now coming home quite well is Luna Rise. Tatra the leader. Luna Rise is starting to really issue the big threat now. 150 metres to go, and Luna Rise raced up to Tatra. They pair down. It's Luna Rise. Tatra's coming back. Luna Rise the outside, just with the head in front, and Luna Rise got the money ahead to Tatra. Proverb got home from well back to get third, and Union Gap fourth. They're followed by Alanine, Crystal Webb, and back behind those there.
And the winner of the race, going through the sales, the English Easter sales for 300. So Hugh Bowman could be in for a big day. He's got Streamer, of course. He's Plum Ride in the mire. On the tote board, we've got 792.
Running a hit the Tetra.
Well, appropriate on that day. I think certainly won the Carbine Club in those colours and cost 380,000 yearling Lunar Horizon. He'd gone through the Gloaming Champions.
Like one of those three horses, he said, they'll be the ones to beat. They're in 1, 2, 3. So I did.
Oh, and it was probably a bit flat.
$7.90 best go.
Big keen, wasn't it, in the run?
Yeah, it was, and they didn't go to the same tempo that they did at Caulfield last start. They went quite slick in that Caulfield race, and he did no work and took runs. Pronto was the weird one. He seemed to want to fight Ben Mellon throughout that whole race. The pacifiers were on.
Long shot money for the bottom one, 71 into 51. But the most crucial thing in the past few minutes, Terry, here, is Gatewood's just firmed back into 320, from 320 into 310. And at the same time, I was getting buzz from Jerry Walsh from Sportingbet, betting at 111%, now 110% on track. He'll run the favourite, and he is the Sportingbet market mover, number 1, Gatewood.
And as we saw, Sam,
Down to the inside, Imisenko has gone in. Gatewood comes alongside it. Dame Claire exceptionally right up on the speed is notified, and also Ruben Percival. So it's a good tempo. Dame Claire working outside Ruben Percival at the 2,200 metres. They go to the lead with exceptionally just off them, and Fictional Account is running fourth on the inside. Closely followed then by Gatewood, has got into a nice place from Imisenko and Janby Saybridge. Kalini followed beside, still with a fair bit to do from an awkward place as they neared the home turn and still excluded at the rear. Dame Claire in front by 2 lengths. Ruben Percival running second, coming up towards the home turn. And then exceptionally, Fictional Account, Gatewood starting to make ground from Imisenko. Back behind those horses now is Tanby feeling right to the outside to try and make ground as the field bunches up behind the leader. 600 metres to go. Dame Claire from Ruben Percival. And on the scene now exceptionally as they swing for home. Tanby was wider out. Where's Dare to Dream? She's coming through on the inside behind a bunch of horses held up. It's Dame Claire with 400 to go. The leader from exceptionally Ruben Percival. Gatewood wider. Now Kalini starting to run on. Tanby was battling, coming towards the 200 metre mark, and they're gobbling in the leader now. Out wide, Kalini's raced up. Kalini goes to the lead from Gatewood, who can't get there. Here's Dare to Dream getting up on the inside. Kalini with Dare to Dream, the danger. Kalini ahead in front as he hit the line, and Kalini's into the Melbourne Cup. Won it by Nick Dare to Dream, exceptionally third. And then Imisenko, who stayed on all right from Dame Claire. Just behind those was Sabridge, and then Gatewood, Ruben Percival, followed further back by...
As Greg Miles said, Kalini's into the Melbourne Cup. This imported horse has been with Chris Waller for most of his career. He's been in the first 4 in every one but one of his 18 starts. He's an amazingly consistent horse. It was a great ride by
Those English hits and does a little bit of a round arm, but he gave a few of those, and I thought, hello, his horse is going pretty well. And, he rounded it up nicely. Dare to Dream was terrific.
What a by Nick.
That's it. Kalini to the Melbourne Cup. All 13 there trying to get there, and Kalini was the one who got the spot. And soon after, Glenn Voss was looked to take the ride. Any chance winning the Cup, Kalini?
I would have thought top 10 more so than winning. I would have thought that this is probably rates a little bit lower than previous Lexus Stakes. We've seen some better winners, I think, than Kalini come through. More comprehensive anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Good. I agree with you. I don't think he can win the Cup, but well, we see a lot of horses that come through the Lexus that might be in the top echelon, but they're rock hard fit. They back up, and they inevitably run well and finish in those top 10 spots. He now gets in the lightest weight, 51 kilos he gets in. Greg Carpenter didn't penalise him, which is no surprise. And I know that Glenn Schofield was originally booked, but Glenn couldn't ride.
Well, has led the way with these imported stayers, so it's probably apt that he's got a runner in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. The Lexus winner goes straight into the Melbourne Cup. Richard, we might go to you here. Kalini out of the Lexus. Good yesterday. Is he up to winning the Melbourne Cup?
I think he's up to running in the first 6. He showed yesterday that he will stay. I think he showed that when he won in Sydney, the last win he had, when he went 3 and 4 deep the whole way and still managed to win. He's a horse that can genuinely stay. Now, that's got to put him in front of probably half the field. And, I see him as a first 6 chance on this. I think it was a very strong win yesterday. And whether he can beat the classy Europeans, well, the other Europeans, because he's won himself, I don't think he can, but I think he can be very competitive.
He'll be competitive, all right. He's just a genuine horse. You look at his record. He's at 18 starts, 8 wins, 6 placings. He's down in the weights. Look, he's one of these imports that he's been a bargain. He was bought for less than 100,000 Aussie, this horse, and he's still really only 4 by his standards. So his future's secure. And look, I don't know if he can win this year.
Crew have had it as a 2 riders in the mix. Glenn Boss's Cirques for the fillies. It's the Group 2 Wakeful Stakes, and punters most of the way through have had it as a 2-horse race. But Tiana has been a bit of an emerger late in the betting. Dear Demi on track
from the Manning Yard. So Dear Demi will run. She might even get the favourite by the time they jump. Right now, she's second favourite.
Transonic and 10 Black are the 2. Is Donna Kativa coming in with 10 Black, so they're nearly set at the 2,000. The Marcher jumps away quickly on the inside. Transonic away very fast from the outside barrier. She's going to try and find the lead, no doubt. Tiana's up there in the early part, and Madam Archer's not too far away as they settle into stride, but it is Transonic who's going on from the outside, trying to cross and find the lead. And Donna Kativa's up there, keeping her working up in the middle. And Kate isn't far away in the pink colour, settling down third. A gap from Madam Archer. Then Dear Demi, who's on the inside of Zydeco. They'll be watching one another closely, and 10 Black at the end of the field. So they're on the descent towards the home turn. And Donna Kativa at the 800, leading narrowly from Transonic. Madam Archer, Kate the outside, and they're followed by Lazuma. Up towards the bend they race, and then Tiana. Madam's Choice is off and around the outside, followed by Maratib. Zucotto's back on the inside. Dear Demi's waiting. She's going to come through the field. Zydeco's coming the deepest. Around the home turn of the Wakefield now. Transonic and Donna Kativa turn in together. Couple of lengths in front of Kate. Zucotto getting up on the inside. Tiana's coming. Madam's Choice coming. Dear Demi threading through. Zydeco. She's about to let go with her in at the 200 metres. They're threading through the favourites now. It's Zydeco racing up to Transonic. Dear Demi, she might have got balked for the run. Zydeco got to Transonic. Maratib coming home. But Zydeco, the staying filly of the Wakefield, drawing away. Zydeco by 2 lengths, Maratib and Transonic. Dear Demi's run fourth, and close up Kate stayed on all right, followed then by Lazoo.
We're talking about Anthony Friedman and his Group 1 wins with Mwingo at Doom, and he might get his first Group 1 win at Flemington. This horse will be favourite now for the Oaks. If she wasn't before, I think she was anyway, coming into the race at about $2.80. She was a good ride by Kieran McAvoy. He got the tag into the race.
You know, I mean, she needs obviously 5 or 6 strides to wind up and hit her top gear, and that's consistent with staying horses.
a terrific performance. Will.
Plenty left in the tank there, you would think, for Zydeco's a Beal filly, a Group 1 winner, 1,000 guineas winner, an all-time high 320 max. She, David Hayes and Michael Walker had a frustrating big day with Maratib and Rawnack yesterday, and Dear Demi was good here. I don't see how they beat her on Thursday. All things being equal, he said.
Exactly. Well, if they continue to ride her in an uncomplicated manner, that being get her out wide into clear running where she can go through her gears and build momentum, probably won't beat her, Bruce, especially when her main rival, Dear Demi, seems to thrive when she's, as Rich was just saying, push between horses, asked to pick up and go through gaps. With that sort of run style, Dear Demi is more often than not going to run into traffic like she has at her last 2 starts, whereas Zydeco, she's out wide and doing nothing. She was very strong to the line, but there's probably not much between Dear Demi and Zydeco on raw ability, but you just have the feeling that this filly is probably going to be that little bit stronger and obviously better positioned.
I think that's the
for Thursday, of course, the Crown Oaks, and was enough between them. Well, Summer Bliss, I suppose, Sharks, the fresh blood. But
Cotto had no luck on either yesterday in the Tie the Knot colours. That was in the one.
Tony Noonan had good success with. On to the Kilmore Stakes, which is the first of the Group 1 features here at Flemington. Snitzerland's been pretty easy in the betting ring. Let's have a look what's happening on the tote and also with the bookies. Sizzling at the moment, $5. Hidden Warrior, 21 into 18. Fire Thunderbolt at $7.50 to $8. Lincoln Rupee at $15. Snitzerland 420 to 4.
She's going to be hard to beat here, definitely.
Okay, a few of these horses we haven't seen before in Melbourne, including Night Exemplar and Shelford, Jolly Bay and Nikita. What did you make of those 4? Obviously, Nikita, they tell me she's not overly...
Been made for Furtry going this and 750 out to 8, then back into 750. The favourite is Snitzerland, always has been 420 out marginally to 440. Biggest drifter of the fancy runners is Nikita, 420 to 550. And good solid money for...
Ready? Dash up the famous Flemington straight for a Group 1. $500,000. Switzerland jumping brilliantly over near the outside, and Lankan Rupee got away well, and Hidden Warrior's away the best out, dashing for the lead in the early stages. So it's Hidden Warrior, Lankan Rupee, Switzerland drops in for the trail, 2 lengths away the yellow cap of Nikita, Sizzling Night Exemplar. Then Stars in the Sky a bit wider out, and they're followed then well back in the field. Jolie Bay over near the inside. Williams has gone right back towards the end on Fire Thunderbolt. He's one of the last back there. Shelford's just ahead of him as they come along now and head towards the 600-metre mark. And it's Hidden Warrior over on the outside in charge of the race. Switzerland look to be coasting along pretty well. Second, Sizzling Handy. Nikita coming up through the inside. Wider Hidden Warrior, Sam Express. Night Exemplar coming through, and further back Fire Thunderbolt. Now Switzerland's moved up. She's found the lead at the 300, but there's a wall there with her, with Lankan Rupee. Nikita sprints brilliantly on the inside, hits the lead. Here's Sam Express coming home on the outside. Jolie Bay the far side. Nikita's clinging on to the lead. She's hanging on by about a length to Jolie Bay and Sam Express, and Nikita the boom filly wins from Jolie Bay, Sam Express. Night Exemplar's held on, Switzerland beaten out of it, and just behind those horses to finish then Sizzling. They were followed then by Fire Thunderbolt. Back behind them was Lankan Rupee, and then came Shelford, Stars in the Sky, and Hidden Warrior after leading last home.
Nathan Tinkler owns this horse. He's been in the news for all sorts of reasons. The business page, as we know, and also obviously in racing. He sold 200 broodmares about 3 days ago on the Gold Coast. Sold another heap of racehorses. I think it was yesterday. It might have been on the Gold Coast. And here he's fillies on. And what about Christian Reith at the end there? Hasn't won a race ever during a Melbourne Cup Carnival, let alone a Derby Day. He celebrated big time.
You could see how happy he was just crossing the line.
Just won the Kilmore Stakes, doesn't she? And well done to Christian Reith. He's got a huge buzz out of that. And yeah, he handled her.
Win for Patnack and a win for Kilmore too, because they stand the mighty stallion Fastnet Rock, who Nikita is buying. Well done to Christian Reith. And John Thompson, they've been under plenty of pressure there, and they produced this filly on Tuesday to sharpen up at the jump outs on Tuesday at Flemington, and comes out and lives right up to it with a slashing performance yesterday. All honest to her, fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, it's the Nikita that we know, and it's the form that she can produce. It's that really explosive turn of foot that's going to win her a lot of very good sprint races. And you saw that jump out on Tuesday. Yes, the time was good and she went to the line really strongly the last furlong. But the beat that I liked was when she was sort of second last in that group, just pointed in the right direction and obviously just asked to improve. She went from second last to first in that jump out, just like that. And you thought, well, hello, she's on. That little bit of zips there. And if she can sit and just chug behind the speed like she did, was going to be the result.
She was nearly on the same blade of grass as Fontalina winning the $8, but she's a very good filly. And look, I think John Thompson done a wonderful job. Like she was beaten as the favourite in the Golden Rose, the 1400, and he stuck solid like that, and it was a great success for her to get that. Snitzerland, she didn't seem to want to roll about. I know Gerald said she would love to get cover, but perhaps she wants the blinkers down the straight, but maybe she's had enough too.
Welcome back to Flemington Racecourse for the running of the Longines Mackinnon Stakes. We've got a bit of a break between the running of the
Group 1. He actually copped a $400 fine for his celebration there, but I don't think he was too worried about that. Ron, very good filly, Nikita.
Outstanding filly. All credit to John Thompson for biting the bullet after she got beat in the Golden Roads and saying, okay, she's not at 1,400-mile horse. She's a lethal, explosive sprinter. Freshened up. Have a look at that. That's a really, really good filly. Fastnet Rock Quinella with Jolie Bay. Geez, I don't know how good that horse is. Better than Ready that beat Jolie Bay last time, breaking the Randwick track record. He'll keep for another day. He's in the paddock. But Sizzling probably wanted further after having the run at 1,200, and Switzerland could well have come to the end of it, or maybe looking for a little further. But she was too sharp for them. She ran right up to that jump out down the straight. Fire Thunderbolt wasn't well ridden. He should have finished closer as well.
Flemington Racecourse for the running of the Longines Mackinnon Stakes. We've got a bit of a break between the running. Ocean Park, obviously the short price favourite for the running of this race. Interestingly here, Prairie Star, if it runs first or second, prize money wise, will push an unusual suspect out of the field for the Melbourne Cup and claim a berth. It's a $20 chance, but $1.75 about Ocean Park on track, Shane.
Yep, and he's the one they have to beat, no matter which way, 31 into 26. But Sporting Bet Market Mover here for the Mackinnon Stakes, and the pick from the yard from Sammy is no surprise here. Number 7, Ocean Park, our Sporting Bet Market Mover
for
Harmonium Gate 2. He hasn't jumped too badly. December Draw got away well. Prairie Star straight to the lead in the early part. Back in Black jumped all right. Glass Harmonium's quickly driving up on the inside. He'll give Prairie Star a run for his money for the lead early. They're followed then by December Draw, and Ocean Park's posing up 50s. Really nicely positioned as they settle footing into stride. So it is Glass Harmonium the leader. And he's wanting to run it pretty solidly. He led by 2.5 to 3 lengths to Back in Black running second. Back in third placing, about 2.5 lengths away, December Draw, followed by Prairie Star. Another 3 lengths in the field into Ocean Park and Alcopop, and 2 lengths to Winchester. And Zabillionaire's last. Well, Glass Harmonium at the 1,000 metres. He's not going to die wondering, and he's got a long lead of about 5 lengths here. In second placing is Back in Black, and 2 lengths December Draw. 3/4 away, Prairie Star. Well, if he's going to stay, he'll find out here. He's running in fourth placing, about 7 off the leader. Ocean Park is following him. And Bossy's keeping Alcopop. Williams locked away on his inside. He's keeping a close watch on the second favourite. And then Zabillionaire and Winchester, but they haven't got to Glass Harmonium. Last year's winner's going to corner with a long, long lead, and the one to run down at the 500. Glass Harmonium 6 lengths in front now. Boss pulls to the outside on Prairie Star. He's given his chance to wind up, and coming home well is Ocean Park on the outside now. Alcopop's got up on the inside. Glass Harmonium at the 200. He is getting tied. He's still 3 lengths on Alcopop. Ocean Park Boss had to pull the whip. Glass Harmonium is running on empty. Alcopop's got him at the 100, I'd say. Ocean Park's after Alcopop. Alcopop beat to the lead right in the night, and the old boys won it. Alcopop beat Glass Harmonium ahead, and Ocean Park's run third. Then either Prairie Star or Zabillionaire. He worked home like a boat coming stayer, didn't he? Then Winchester, followed by December Draw, and back at the end of the field is Back in Black.
Well, he was favourite for the Cup in 2009, this horse. This is an amazing story. That's his first Group 1 Alcopop, first Group 1 for Jake Stevens, the trainer, 38th Group 1 for Craig Williams, Dominic Teneur, the jockey. He'll be feeling not so great back in Adelaide. A bit stiff, I reckon, to get the sack, to be truthful, but Craig's done the job.
It's amazing, this horse, how he's had a kind of revival horse at age, eight. He's still improving.
What I love about the ride from Craig.
Well, he's 8-year-old now, year in the wilderness, but geez, as good as ever.
Yeah, left. I don't think I'm left. Yeah, certainly. He's full credit to Jake Stevens and his whole team. Oh, but he is all right. He's an 8-year-old, weight for age level. He was very stiff last time to run in Dunedin in a handicap. He looked to win it, but Dunedin's an exceptional horse, and hopefully we see that again on Tuesday. But thankfully, that was an amazing race.
It was an amazing race, wasn't it? Because the guy that just went past you, Glenn Bosch, was the guy you had.
I think both you and the horse deserve that. Well done.
It was a brilliant ride, like when he came up the inside there and just sitting inside Ocean Park. When I saw Ocean Park go out wide, I was just thinking, go the inside, and just amazing run, and see the horse fight like that down the straight. And obviously he was at his best today at Flemington.
Your story's been well documented. A couple of years ago when you came here, you were the Cup's favourite. But as I said, he really deserves a Group 1 victory here after everything he's done.
Definitely. And I said that to Craig before he went out there and said he's fresh and well. He's just been at his best all week and just do it. So it was a brilliant ride, and just one of those things that's just, well, it's all done.
I think Victor Harbour and a lot of South Australia will be celebrating now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Stay, didn't he? Then went
From that gutbuster in the Cox Plate. I think there's plenty to be said about the 2 weeks versus 1 week here today, Joe. And don't forget, at Caulfield, if he'd had a fair run.
So Peter and the boys
For you and your team, and a lot of hard work over the years with him.
Great breakthrough on that stage, sort of on Derby Day. It was amazing. And finally catch a Group 1. That was what it's all about.
But like all good horses or popular horses, longevity is a great thing. And you've had to manage this throughout his career to think all the little ailments he's got. If someone walks past with a cold, he gets it. Those sorts of things. It must be more than satisfying.
Definitely. He's been a fragile horse and a tricky horse to train, but he sort of made me as a trainer, and coming back as an 8-year-old and doing it now, it's been all the sweeter. Sort of we've been there and then sort of been away from the scene a bit and then come back. It's made it all the more enjoyable.
It's been an incredible.
He's still 3 lengths on Alcopop. Ocean Park Boss had to pull the whip. Glass Harmonium is running on empty. Alcopop's got him at the 100, I'd say. Ocean Park's after Alcopop. Alcopop to the lead right on the line, and the old boys won it. Pop beat Glass Harmonium.
Well, Greg, he said the old boy, look, he's 8, but he sounds like he'll be 20, doesn't he? He's been around in every carnival and Kilmore Cup winner as well, but only 32 starts, Jake, because of all of this.
Yeah, injuries and little hiccups, and I suppose starting late too. Sort of it has given him a bit more longevity. Talking about his popularity, and he's popular because Craig Williams was your choice yesterday. Jonathan has been associated with the horse, but time for a change, and you justify that clearly by the result you got yesterday. It was a tough call, and you've got to do these things as a trainer, and you've got to be a bit ruthless sometimes, and I suppose as an owner as well. And who's that? Cool.
A new lease on life. This is the best I think he's ever gone.
Yeah, congratulations to Jake Stevens. I didn't think they'd ever get him back to win a big Group 1 like that. They deserve full credit after he's bounced back after a career highlight in the Caulfield Cup, and to do this after I was a little critical of replacing the rider last week. I was proved wrong there again, because that was a dead set. Wouldn't have won without him, right? He never left the fence.
I think that's harsh on Dominic Tanur. I don't know that
Look, I
that
know.
ride was so special that Dominic couldn't have produced it.
No, I understand. It was still a good ride and a good performance from a horse at the top of his game. He was brave, this second horse. He's a different horse class harmonium when he finds the front. Ocean Park, afterthoughts.
He was a bit flat.
Afterthoughts in racing. They don't work very often. Look, the two Melbourne Cup horses, the Billionaire and Winchester, were both pretty good. That's what you want to see from a Melbourne. Look, let's face it. Like Alcopop runs second to Junadin in the Caulfield Cup, and he got give him 5.5 kilos in that race.
Yes.
Alcopop's come out and beat our Cox Plate winner there.
Yeah.
So how good is Junadin to start with, let alone all the rest of the Europeans?
It's good points.
Ocean Park, Jart up. You're coming up. We're 12 minutes away from it. If I were you and you hadn't put your quaddies on, I'd be holding off as long as you can. But sure.
Victoria Derby punters not fleeing here with It's a Done Deal. They're strong with him, Shane, aren't they? He's been well tried.
Yeah, well, it could have gone the other way. He could have just been a terrific drifter after that perceived flop at the Valley last week, but they'd rallied for him in the last couple of minutes.
And of the others in the betting, Honorius' first horse we're looking at is It's a Done Deal, who went down for the first time in the Vars, which has now become, generally speaking, in the last 5 years, the A race going into the Derby.
The only reason, look,
you don't want to have to do any extra work because you're all unproven at the 2,500.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they jump out and crawl in this though. And we've seen derbies that tend to rock along. If Willow has a bit of luck just slotting,
but God, they could stay.
Yeah, and that's what this horse will do. I was only thinking watching him. He got up to probably a length behind Super Cool, and Super Cool had sat that bit closer and had a sweeter run. Had the kick at the end of the race
from the 8-2.
He's ready for the Derby. And that was a beautiful start of the Derby. It's a Done Deal, snagging early, and Jamando the first one to bounce out. Super Cool away brilliantly in 5.5 star. And Subiaso are just off them as they settle into stride. And then Escato Electric Fusion, followed by Honorius and Havastan as they leave the straight. And let's see where It's a Done Deal has settled down. He's about fourth last as they go out towards the riverside of the course, and Bullion Express as they know to fear in the Derby. So they're making their way out to the 1,400 metres, and a fast run Derby it is with Jamando a long leader. He's about 5 lengths in front here. In second placing, 5.5 star. 2 lengths away is Super Cool, who looks to have settled well, and so is Subiaso a further ahead, and they're being followed by our Desert Warrior. As they came up the side, Malabar Man starting a wide move. It's a Done Deal being restrained. He's a fair way back in the field as they're making their way down past the 1,000-metre mark. Rawnack's behind him in company with Costanova, Bullion Express, and Nisos is last. So Jamando tries to do it all in the Derby, but he's run it very solidly. 5.5 star stays with him at the 800. 3 or 4 lengths in front of Super Cool. A further 2 lengths to Subiaso. Avastana, Scardo, Electric Fusion, Honorius. Welbecker's better Studer as they corner with Rawnack. Pull to the outside, Costanova from Malabar Man. They're into the straight. It's a Done Deal. Gee's got some work to do from there. McDonald's had to go for the whip now. 5.5 star dash to the lead in the Derby. Jamando was gone. Super Cool starting to chase the leader. Habastan's coming from Subiaso and further back Escato. It's a Done Deal's a minute back. Super Cool at the 200 is coming after 5.5 star. Habastan's rolling about a bit. Nothing else can win it. It's 5.5 star from Super Cool. 100 left to go. 5.5 star keeps responding. Super Cool can't get in. And 5.5 star won the Derby. By a length and a half, Super Cool. Rawneck went on for third. Habastan was fourth. Followed closely by Electric Fusion. It's a Done Deal. Escato, and then came our Desert Warrior. Behind them is Honorius. Is last in the Derby. It's another one for Ollie. 4 in all now.
It is his 20th ride in the Derby, his fourth win. His first was in 1992 on a maiden. He then won in 2001 on a Malfi, and that was the big breakthrough for Peter Modi. And then Elstrad. Now, Ollie, we saw Media Puzzle was a different story. I mean, with Jason and all the emotion. I haven't seen Damien react like that in any other race in his life. I mean, there's a lot going on in Damien's life. We know that. That reaction's quite amazing today.
Yeah, it's a bit of controversy in his life, Damien, but one thing you know about Damien Oliver, doesn't matter what's going on off the course, it's what happens on the course that matters, and he always produces. He let this horse stride along as Simon said he would. He wasn't going to let him over race. He just chased the leader, and I tell you what, his win in Sydney the other day was very good, and they brought him down here. Damien talked Anthony Cummings, the trainer, into running this horse in the Derby and paying up for him, and it's been a great decision for him, Jess.
Yeah, exactly. But what's interesting is that he sat just behind Demando, I think, in the run. Demando's finished.
Healing sales. English dividends going up 19.30, 4.30. Super cool. He just couldn't get to him 2.10. And Rawnack, David Hayes, was pretty well on the mark, suggesting he was a 20 to 1 shot, not a 100 to 1 shot. $19.30.
The transport I wanted, I couldn't get it the day. I wanted to make the Derby a fair thing on the horse. At the end of the day, I think this is his seventh or eighth run in about as many weeks. And he presented really well today, and he's just got a hell of a constitution. And I didn't have time to sort of work him into shape, and the only way to get him there was to race him into fitness, and so that's what we did. And turned out pretty good.
It did turn out very well. Anthony Cummings, congratulations.
And Damien, you had to talk Anthony. Well, you talked him into running the horse in the Derby, in the Amy Derby, and gee, what a result, mate!
Fantastic, Lexi. Yeah, I was glad I was able to talk Anthony into it. The horse, he couldn't have been fitter today, and we had a nice run. And he just stayed really well, he just outstayed him today.
Damien, you've won it 4 times.
It's another one for Ollie. 4 in all, Dathan.
Yeah, one of the great riders of all time, and a very emotional win, I'd imagine, for Anthony Cummings. He trained Hotel Grant himself, was a very good galloper.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I said,
Had a very tight racing schedule at home, and big framed horse, and took a lot of work and a lot of racing to get him fit. And the plan was to be fit for the Flemington week, and then whatever race made sense at the time. After he won last week, I thought I would sort of miss the boat a little in having him ready for the Derby. And couldn't get the floats the day I wanted to. Anyway, we got him here, and he just needed to slot straight in to eat up, to get on his Melbourne league, do all the things that it usually takes him a few days to do. He didn't have a few days to do it. So, we were a bit sort of slow coming to the party and declaring for the Derby. But after Ollie wrote him in work on the Wednesday, it was plain that he'd sort of ticked all the boxes and turned up and become,
Derby winner 5.5 star, and Ollie loved it. Gave a bit of the old Media Puzzle salute there. Maxi did $41, beat Super Cool and Rawnack, who was arguably mightily unlucky. You can say that? Mightily unlucky. Nash Ruler cop time for that. There's the sectionals. He did a stack of work throughout the race. 5.5 star. He was there to get run down, and he didn't horse it. Anthony, close to your heart. You got the Sire Hotel Grand. You're allowed to the front. Went through the sales for 20 grand. So all those pedigree buffs out there talking about the great history of derbies, and here's a different story.
Yeah, it is a bit. I bought Hotel Grand's mum as a baby at Easter, and Hal, Julia, and myself raced her, and Bernie, and we.
But they seem to be going very, very quick.
They went 6 lengths quicker than average for the first 1,000 races.
Yeah, Damien said, he was nice and relaxed.
He was, and the same thing last time in a similar fashion to Hotel Grand. And he was a multiple Group 1 winner. He used to race on speed and had a really strong kick. This guy's done the same thing. He's had a few wet tracks.
Question in the Derby is what happened to the favourite there? It's a done deal. Maybe he's come towards the end of his preparation. He was perhaps peaking there in Sydney for the Spring Champion Stakes in the Vars last week where he was beaten. But Andrew, any news there on the Kiwi? It's a done deal. What happened to him?
Well, certainly got a long way back there. Murray Baker was very surprised how far he did get back. He made up ground in the straight. He's been up for a while, going back to the early August. He had a trial against Ocean Park, so he may have come to the end, but he got a long way back there yesterday. He'll go back.
Well, let's face it, it's a done deal. It's easy to say he got a long way back, but that's his racing style. It comes from last every start.
What's he had? Half a dozen starts?
Yeah.
They don't have a racing style.
He's got a racing.
Oh, no, he
He gets
doesn't.
back in the
No,
field
that's
and he
because
comes with a big finish.
It was a mistake yesterday to get that far back. It was a mistake to start before to get that far back. So it's just two mistakes in a row. That doesn't make a racing pattern.
The writing was on the wall at Moonee Valley that the horse had had enough, were a little forgiving. From the time that horse walked into the yard yesterday, he could not win that race. He's not the same horse that I've seen walking around the yard in Sydney, where a nice, relaxed, staying type of horse. He dragged that strap around there for 5 minutes there, and that is a sign of a horse that had gone over the top. He'd had enough.
With the betting, Shane, Streamer's been favourite all the way through. She's just beautifully placed here at the scale of this weight race, and on the TAB at $3.10. On track, she's at $3.10. Anything really back to beat her? Soft Sand 11 into 10. Pear Tart 850 with Secret Admirer. Yosei hasn't moved from.
Streamer is 280 out to 310. Now there's been some interest in Secret Admirer. Mile against mares, firm track, big straight. She's definitely going to be in the finish here. 8 out to 850, then back into 8. Soft Sand down there.
I can put holes through the opposition.
Yeah, it's look at then you look at a mare like Yosei, and if she's on top of her.
Left set. Seen in the wire. Yosei a little slow. Streamer brilliantly away. Sky Rush begins just as fast as her, and they're coming over. Oasis Bloom trying to hold her place, and just off them, Shannara. Red Tracer's up there. Streamer about 4 wide. She's working hard, but she's finally going to get over with Red Tracer going with her. Oasis Bloom is probably just going to let them go and try and get to the outside and hold third. And they're followed Sequel, Full of Spirit, followed by Appearance, and Soft Sand has gone back, and she is last. So the field is scooting down towards the home turn, and it's Streamer, the favourite at the 800, leading by a length. Red Tracer, Oasis Bloom. They're being followed as they swing to the turn. Shannara, Sky Rush putting in a run wide. Secret Admirer, handy enough. Followed by Pear Tart. Yosei will play for luck the rails as they swing for home. And they're being followed by Raspberries wide. And Appearance is coming the deepest. They're around the home turn and Full of Spirit. One of the last in a bunching field. And Soft Sand is going to peel right to the outside. Down below the 400, Red Tracer throws out the serious threat, the Streamer. I don't know if she's got much left. Oasis Bloom trying for a squeeze on the inside. Sky Rush, Raspberries is coming home on the outside, and then came in best. Soft Sand and Appearance is about 5 or 6 across the track. Oasis Bloom, Sky Rush, Appearance, Secret Admirer bursting through. Appearance driven home by Rodney's got it. Appearance wins from either Soft Sand, Secret Admirer, Oasis Bloom and Sky Rush all there in a desperate drive for the placings. Raspberries just off them. Streamer wilted after working hard. Full of Spirit, Yosei next over. Followed further back in.
$10 that went into the quadrilla in Victoria is going to be massive, because to get the first 2 legs, now Appearance got on the wrong leg at Caulfield last time. She's a talented filly. I'm telling you this after the race, I know.
And here she is, Appearance by Commands, going home.
Trying to jump from Awkward Gate and then got to 4 deep, and those inside her kept digging up and kept making her work. It was a fast run race, set it up for Appearance.
And here she is, Inquiry. Appearance on the tape for Inglis, 43.80 and 9.30. Well done to the team there. Soft Sand 3.20 and Secret Admirer runs another Group 1 place.
Appearance wins from.
Oh, guy won it. Not the one the punters won today. $53.40. Maxi Div Richard Gellner for Appearance. For Commands, it was with Darling, a couple of winners yesterday with their outside trainer, so to speak, Anthony Freeman, and of course Guy Walter. And you got to say there, seeing's believing. Lined them up. Tempo was pretty solid there, Shark, wasn't it? Lined them up and ran them down.
That was the key, Bruce. Everything was run to suit for Appearance and for the runner-up, Soft Sand, you have to say as well. They did go pretty quick in front, and it probably wasn't expected when you consider that Streamer led at such a leisurely tempo at Caulfield. She and Pear Tart looked to be the ones again, but I think I was talking to David Gately last night, and he made a nice comment. He said, I think they all saw what happened with Streamer last night, and I thought, well, I'll have a piece of that. We want to go forward too, and they did. The speed was on, and it set it up for the horses to sweep. Look, Appearance wasn't bad at Caulfield. Her late sectionals were very good, I thought. 41 was overs. I know the
Well, I hope-
fella next to me certainly thought they were.
Well, Gator and I both tipped it in Bristol, and it never figured. And the Streamer in that one, and I hope Gator only had a peanut on, like honestly, little peanut, but at 53.40, it's all you need. But that was the Gator and I both like the last start. Sometimes you got to back up. I didn't do it on Welcome Gold in Sydney and hit one, but sometimes you just got to.
Result I expected. I thought Streamer could win, but the way the race worked out, she had to work very hard early. And Michael rode this filly back from a wide gate. And I'd just like to say how happy I am to win for Darley. They've been very, very loyal to
One yesterday. Michael Rod had rode 8 Group 1 placings this spring. He'd had a bit of a frustrating run, but he landed a big one yesterday, and of course he's got Red Cadeau coming up on Tuesday. Ron, stablemate to the favourite, the winner.
Yeah, what a great trainer he is, Guy Walter. Now, look, I don't know how she started $41. I don't like tipping after the race, but still, she had run a fantastic race in the shorts first up. I think we made her a hells to follow, and then she was just totally unsuited when Streamer crawled up front last time. Third up here, she got the job done. He went out too hard on Streamer. Yeah, he's all right. We'll give him the raps when he deserves the raps, but he went out far too hard on her, and she had nothing left at the finish. So, a punch finish. A little bit of a concern, but strong performance by the winner. She's underrated for sure.
She ran right through the line there too. And you know what? If she was in...
And the favourite for the event at the moment is Pamper Lane at $6. I was talking very quickly then too, folks, but I've settled down now. Knocked out in the quaddy, so we feel this is a different race, Shane, because you had Latin News finishing the race off well on that, and I wouldn't rate him at all.
No, but this horse was probably only 80 days.
Stragglers getting down to the start there. In here we'll see some action. Fontalina, who's trialled well tried. And this long shot continues to come in for support. Bolton. He's 100 to 1 into 60 to 1 at the moment, Bolton. And the money from the stable wouldn't be coming unless... And How Much Do You Love Me brilliantly away. You might have given Tiger Tease a little slight dust up when they jumped out of the stalls, but they're going to settle in front. Tiger Tease taking up the running now. He's in front with How Much Do You Love Me, and they burn the petrol early. Miss Marks has posied in behind them, close up in third placing. And they're followed then by Golden Archer, reasonably well poised, followed by Fontalina. Latin News has got up behind the leading bunch. Chasm about midfield from Pampalone, and they're followed by Rolling Pin a fair way back, followed by Outlandish Lad, Bolton towards the end, and Spirit of Broom brings up the rear. Now they're joining the course proper. How Much Do You Love Me has the lead from Tiger Tease. Miss Marks just waiting for her opportunity. Fontalina on the far side. Golden Archer under pressure wider. Chasm not far away. Pampalone starting to lengthen now. How Much Do You Love Me gone at the 200. Fontalina with Tiger Tease are the two out in front of Miss Marks. It's Fontalina, Tiger Tease coming after it. Spirit of Boom coming. Fontalina, Tiger Tease, Spirit of Boom late. Fontalina hanging on. Tried a big odds this one. And Fontalina got the money narrowly, I'd say, from Spirit of Boom out wide and Tiger Tease. Close up, Miss Marks, Outlandish Lad, Golden Archer. How Much Do You Love Me didn't finish off. Chasm next over.
Now, this is close. Spirit of Boom's made this really interesting. We've put up Fontalina, and it looked like winning all the way, right on the line. Anthony comes, there we go. So about a half a head.
You would have to say
System in the world. Never seen it anymore.
There's your English dividends.
I've got glad
Used to the best betting system in the world. Never seen it anymore.
Back to the situation of How Much Do You Love Me after we just talk about this horse, Fontalina, well owned by a couple of good blokes. Robbie Willis, Mike Byes, I love their racing.
You know, after the end of that preparation, sort of sat down and decided, where do we go now? What's the aim? And this race sort of it seemed to me to be the obvious one, and it turned out to be a good story.
He's been to the mile and to 1500 as well. Is he a sprinter, or will we see him get up to that distance range again?
Well, I think he'll probably work his way up a little bit in distance, but I think the mile probably.
Much Do You Love Me, of course. This was had risen out of Racing Victoria's compliance. Stewards had gone to the stables of Steve Richards. This is the equipment they found in the stables, thanks to Channel 7 for this vision of How Much Do You Love Me. Now, that was found in a Hessian bag, as you can see there. The argument or the explanation given by Tony Karakatsanis was that he picked up the wrong bag. Allegedly, there was another bag which had a biscuit of lucerne hay in it. And Rich, you're right. I'm not laughing, but the thing is, when you're in there, you're thinking, it beggars belief. That's the explanation.
And that's what the steward said. How do you get a and like this has got a bucket? Surely they weigh different, and you can feel the difference of the bag. It's
quite a surreal inquiry, wasn't it?
It was very, very strange. That's all I can say. You know, to hear the excuse, I picked up the wrong. Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell. We were in a rush. The stewards arrived, and the bag was in the box, and it was sitting there with the paraphernalia for the stomach tube in it.
course,
Nobody was feeding it down a horse's nose like rumours were flying around that the horse was loose with a tube hanging out of its throat.
Yeah,
Well,
here's some
that
rumours,
was
yes.
just all complete
But
rubbish.
I wanted to use it.
They weren't. Well, who knows? The evidence wasn't there for the stewards to
Right,
as
because
far as they were concerned.
I think it was. I think they thought there was clear evidence or enough evidence to say that it hadn't been tubed. It was like 2 weeks ago with Robert Smurden.
And now freewheeling just firms into $3 to become the outright favourite. But I think also the money has been split with
racing to call the last race on the card. Let's head up to Greg.
It's not a bad field. Morant about to come in. He's been screaming out to get over a little bit of ground, hasn't he? He's moving up into the gates. Craig Williams bringing Morant into the stall. In the last, and McClintock won the jump brilliantly. Freewheeling got away well. So did Bold Glance. And Dusty Star's being sooled forward by the Gouts to get up on the speed. But as they settle down, McClintock will have little trouble in holding Mountain. He's in front by about 3/4 to a length on Dusty Star. Freewheeling, and Bold Glance settles down fourth on the inside. Break up about a length and a half then to Wall Street down the side. They're running it at a pretty strong gallop here. And McClintock had the lead. He's in front of Dusty Star, the outside, and about 3 lengths away then is Bold Glance. Freewheeling the outside, tracked up then by Renewed Vitality, Wall Street, Faulkner. And Morant's going to need a big paralysing burst. But these leaders have gone solidly around the turn and hanging out a little bit. It's McClintock with Dusty Star. And they've still got a long lead on the rest of them. Bold Glance given full bore. Freewheeling starting to run on, and down the outside then at the head of the others, Wall Street. Faulkner's going past him. McClintock kicks on low. He's in front of Dusty Star. Might have his measure, McClintock. He hasn't won for 3 years. He's stopping. Here they come now. Here's Faulkner and Freewheeling. The favourites descend on the lead together, but Faulkner has all of the momentum, and Faulkner once again beat Freewheeling by 2 lengths. Wall Street or Morant, who flew home, are in photos for second and for third. And the Renewed Vitality's not far away. Dusty Star next in. And then came...
What's the racehorse spring this one? That'll put a smile on Lloyd Williams' face. He's got a couple of runners in the Cup, Lloyd, on Tuesday. And he knows how to win that race as well. Good ride, Nick Hall. He sat back. Richard...
Yeah, he's just a ripper. And that was a terrific win.
He's obviously, yeah, as you say, Sam, very good. Also got the time they've run, 120.9. What sort of race could he win? What sort of race could he win in the bigger league?
Just hang on, go back to that.
120.9.
It's got to be a course record. No, it's 0.3 outside the course record.
Yeah,
They were scooting in front.
By 2 lengths.
Well, he's been beautifully handled by Mackinnon Lodge. Faulkner to set himself up now for the Group 1 Emirates on the last day of the Carnival. That time, 120.9, basically. Well, it's within an inch of Lovey. 20 odd years ago, not Lovey.
Yeah.
Track record here, but there they are in front for a Dusty Star.
Oh, we've got a couple of emails. I'm not going to read them out. I got them last night, Bruce. They were bagging Laurie Ray on her horse. I said, it was Darren Gouchy on the outside. I said, what's that song? You can't have one without the other. Oh, it was Gouchy went and served it up on Dusty Star. They went, no, there was... I know they said, oh, they've given a kick, they're still in front. There was more over me playing full forward than the back markers not running over them. They just went ridiculous up front.
Well, McClintock, he gets out and gets out a good tempo. Anyway, he rolls, and he doesn't need a lot of encouragement to go fuck a mile tempo-wise. He was able to finish off and come over the top. Going towards an Emirates, he's a live chance in that race. He's a serious chance.
He'll be down the weights.
Down in the weights. If we get a little bit of rain later in the week as well, around that dead 4, dead 5, when he can just get his toe in this horse, he improves. He's absolutely flying, going really well. Freewheeling seems to have his mind on the job again, this preparation. He was a little bit wayward last time, but he...
Emirates Melbourne Cup 2012 edition. Best field possibly of the modern era. Well, not possibly. I'd argue that it is the best field ever in the Emirates Melbourne Cup, with 2 champions coming back, one to defend and one to try and do a Peter Pan and win it again. That's Dunedin and American. We're going to go through each of the 24 horses in the Emirates Melbourne
to the race.
Richard, can the locals keep the cup this year?
No, haven't got Buckley's. The international runners that we've seen here are good enough to win it. Dunedin, American, even Red Cadeau we've seen before, but he's one of a bunch that haven't raced this spring in Australia. There are horses there that are probably superior to the horses that have come before them. And any one of them could win the Melbourne Cup. I reckon you could produce a list of 6 runners in this Cup. Any one of them can win it, and you still may miss it. But they'll all be Europeans, that's for sure.
All right, let's head.
I think the Europeans, it's taken them about 20 years to work out, but don't send your B and C graders down here. Send your A graders. That's what they're doing. That's why we've got the the two at the top of the weights, both winners of the race. Look, it's been a very interesting betting race. There probably hasn't been a lot of interest until about a week ago. Now we've got the final field. I can tell you, America hasn't been a lot of interest until about a week ago. Now we've got the final field. I can tell you, Americane's been sensationally backed. Very heavily backed with several big bets at $8, $7 into $5.50 favourites.
So did you market, Michael? Take us through that.
Yeah, well, Americane's the favourite, as I said, in $5.50 now.
Americane 12. I'm not sure the barrier draw, the way many of these horses race, Shark, is critical to them. I mean, obviously, Winchester's a millionaire, no joy for them, but I'll be honest, I'm not that fussed on the barrier draw for the Melbourne Cup as being critical here.
No, absolutely not. And particularly, you see on that first page a horse like Red Cadeau, who a lot of people are expecting on weights and measures to beat home Dunedin this year round. Oh, barrier 18 for that horse. He's one that's going to get back.
Up, and we'll start with TAB number 1, the top weight in Caulfield Cup winner. He was fantastic winning the Caulfield Cup. He loves coming to Australia. Ron, 59 kilos is a big ask.
Yeah, maybe. Weight stops trains, they say. I don't think it'll stop Dunedin. He's one of the best horses in the world. He's unbeaten in Australia. The eye.
Mike, we'll get to you shortly. Red Pebble coming in from Hong Kong to ride Green Moon a couple of weeks ago. What price will before the Cox Plate? Green Moon, I think, would have been second or third favourite.
Yeah, it was definitely well in the market. It's now been 19 out to 21 on the back of the Cox Plate. So. Yeah, no, it was.
Flemington, I give him some hope top 6.
No, I don't think you can't rule him out because he could forgive the one run and his Flemington form's excellent. Green Moon. The preparation had been beautiful until then.
Oh, spot on. Flemington.
Rebel and Team Williams. Ronnie was going so well before the Cox Plate, but I suppose he is coming back from that weight for age back to a handicap.
Yeah, look, he was the name on everyone's lips, thinking, well, he's going to near run favourite in a Melbourne Cup, and they're all tipping him in the Cox Plate. He's a horse that I'm Melbourne Cup type of horse, but I'm just in two minds about him now.
I think he runs very well at Flemington. I think that'll suit him. I think he'll run much better at Flemington than he did at the Valley. One of these chances in the race. I don't want to tip him in the race, but it won't surprise me if he runs a very good one. He's one of the horses trained in Australia who can do the job.
Melbourne Cup for Tuesday.
I'm going to go with Mount Athos. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. He's got terrific form in Europe. He's got the right weight. He's got a very good jockey on his back.
I think he's back, and if he's back with the no weight on his back, and I loved his Geelong Cup, second in the Cup 2 years ago. He comes out of the right form lines for me, and he comes out of the.
Oh, Richie, we've got the same exactly this year, mate. I'm exactly the same as you. I think my lucky day can win. I think American.
Choice to win the Emirates Melbourne Cup. No, about being a roughie. 12 to beat 4 record.
I'm travel the world, Bruce, because money speaks all languages.
I'm surprised this record hasn't got much of a mention. Terrific last week.
I'm going to
the side of the top 2.
Betting against the top 2. There's no doubt about that. Look, I'm a Collini fan. I liked its run on Saturday. I thought it was a great run. And I'm a big jockey believer. And there's no better in a big race than Bossy. And he's also in great form at the moment.
They don't want a firm track for Americane. I think if the rain comes, it's just a big positive. Americane, Dunedin, Red Cadeau, and from a local point of view, I think Ethiopia for Pat Carey will be right around the mark.
Damien Oliver on as a plus, but I'm terrified if it doesn't rain. He's going to run our worst way if it doesn't rain. I think he needs the rain, but I think he's the best horse.
The French pair, Matt, Dunedin and American, I think they'll run 1-2. I've also got a healthy respect for the Kamani 2, My Quest for Peace, and Mount Athos. I think they'll both run.
I like him a lot. I think he's all class Dunedin. He'll win the Cup. I'm not worried about the weight. Look, nothing special. I think Americane's the danger. Red Cadeau's in the picture again. Best long shot is Moraine.
Well, my tips are embarrassingly meaningless because it's not the way I want to bet. I mean, I've got Dunedin to beat Red Cadeau, Mount Athos and Americana. It's probably the market order there, but it's not what I want to do. I want to put the pen through the ones I don't think can win and take a big exotic around the ones that might. And I reckon that the folks at home, this is the year to take a big exotic around the trifecta or the first 4 or something that's going to pay a
last night. Ethiopia out of the Cox Plate, Dunedin and also Moraine. 8, 10, 1, 16 are my numbers.
$7.80 on Super Tap. American 620. Red Cadeau 760. There's been a little bit of rain in Melbourne over the past hour or 2 hours, and that won't harm the chances of $9.4 million in the pool. Over the page, these are all the double figures. Galileo's Choice, good chance of $16. My lucky day at $11. Moraine, a few supporters as well. Okay, Rich, we're not too far away from this third event, Andrew.
Betting the win pool on Super Tab is already over $16 million, and American is the favourite on the TAB here in Super Tab, landed $6 to find out with Shane Templeton.
Thanks very much, Terry. They're betting to 111%, and this thunder is getting louder and louder. Dunedin is the on-track favourite at 7. American is out from 8 to 9. 71 about Jackalbury. 950 Red Cadeau. Winchester 61. 101 about Wala Ichi, who will be ridden a bit more quietly today. 31 out from 26 Cavalryman. 750 Mount Athos. There was good money for him this morning. Sanagas is out to 50 to 1. We've got Ethiopia at 21. Fiorenti 31. Galileo's Choice at 16. Glencaddam Gold 41. Green Moon 18. Malucky Day 15. Morayan 26. My Quest for Peace 17. 71 now for money has clearly been for Mount Athos and Collini. There's been something late for American and a constant interest in Dunedin. So Athos is our sporting bet market.
Ground, but nothing compared to what there was about 10 or 15 minutes ago. We saw some pictures here.
Lights of heaven begin low, started by Macy's, a millionaire spinning over hills early. Galileo's Choice jumping away well. Green Moon is right up there with Miriam in the early part, and Glencaddam Gold and Kalini not too far away. Precedence going up about the middle of the field as they settle down. Red Cadet's gone right back as well. Cavalryman towards the end. Mount Athos has about 4 or 5 behind him. The Charge joining up the course proper now. Glencaddam Gold goes to the lead. He's in front of Lights of Heaven, improving out deep around Ethiopia, who's right up there on the speed. Placely being followed by Kalini and Miriam over on the fence. Pretty much lead there. Just behind those Galileo's Tours outside. Green Moon, like Rest for Peace, for the midday. Senegal's next on the outside. They've been followed one easy. American sneaking up on the inside. Followed Precedence and then Jackalbury 2 lengths to know. Take the West on Mount Athos, who's starting to stride around the field. The Lucky Day, Red Cadeau, and they're followed by Cavalryman. Dunedin has gone right back. He's third from last, and behind him is Winchester. Unusual Suspect and the Billionaire is back at the tail of the field. So Glencaddam Gold has the lead in the Melbourne Cup. Out to the Riverside, 2.5 lengths on Lights of Heaven. Kilini is running third, and Ethiopia is holding down fourth. One further back is Miriam getting a good run from Galileo's Choice. A length further back is Green Moon. Then Fiorente, My Quest for Peace and Sanagas. One to the grey to Wala Isi. American next on the inside, being followed by Precedence and Jackalbury as they race up the side. Mount Athos next on the outside. Behind these, Nightwood as they go past the halfway mark. Tactor Wastron improving on his outside. They're being followed Red Cadeau, Malucky Day, Dunedin, Cavalryman well back with Unusual Suspect. Winchester second last. The Billionaire still brings up the rear. So Glencaddam Gold, 1,300 to go, a length and a half clear. Lights of Heaven running second. Kalini is third. Ethiopia's fourth. And then came Murian. Galileo's Choice enjoying a good run. One to Green Moon. They're followed further back by Fiorente. Behind these, My Quest for Peace. Senegas has been wide. Wala Isi. Mount Athos. American nowhere to go from Precedence. And then came Tactor Wastron, Jackalbury. Wellbeckers, Nywell and Red Cadeau. Well, Lucky Day. Dunedin still giving them a long start coming down the side. And he's being followed then by Unusual Suspect, Cavalryman's a Billionaire. Winchester's back at the tail. 800 left to go in the cup, and Malucky Day the leader, or rather Glencaddam Gold the leader. A length and a half in front of Lights of Heaven running second from Kilini. They're being followed Fiorente, creeping into it. Galileo's Choice on the outside from Sanagas, Wala Isi. Back behind those horses, My Quest for Peace, who's over on the fence. Now they corner it. American has made his way to the outside, and Dunedin's a fair way back. Glencaddam Gold had the lead. Here's Miriam after him, and Green Moon is coming on. Kilini's joining in the middle too. They were clear then from Fiorente, starting to work home, and then came Jackalbury. Glencaddam Gold is grabbed by Green Moon. Green Moon dashed to the lead of the Northern Cup, followed by Kilini. Fiorente starting to come home. Green Moon out in front from Brent Pringle. He's 2 lengths clear from Fiorente, and Green Moon hits the Northern Cup by a length and a half. Fiorente. Jackalbury's run third. Kilini 4. Mount Athos got home late, followed by Glencaddam Gold. They were trailed further back then by Miriam, Red Cadeau, Precedence, My Quest for Peace, Cavalryman, American didn't come on. Being followed further back then by Wala Isi. Galileo's Choice. Dunedin's finished a long way back with the Lucky Day, Civilianaire, Unusual Suspect, and Ethiopia's a distant last in the Melbourne Cup.
Great call, Greg. Green Moon for Brett Preble. 3 winners in Hong Kong on the weekend. Has a phenomenal record during the Emirates Melbourne Cup Carnival. A place getter for Lloyd Williams on Sailor Gear. And now Lloyd wins his 4th as an owner to go to the top of the mountain, having won with just a dash.
Something that you've dreamed of as a jockey, the Emirates Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. That goes without saying, but boss, you're watching at home. I know you don't make it. Give me at home, and Alan Williams, the members yard at home, and that's for you, boss. Thank you for your support, and I can't thank you enough. It's my life dream to do it. There was no horse in this race. It's on a full simulator, you know. He's a quality weight for 8 horse. Johnny May used to always say, you know, the old stages to win it, but nowadays you need those quality weight for 8 horses, you know. Can win a mile, can win 2,000. And that's where, you know, you showed his turn of foot. I put it.
To be honest with you, I need to see the race again, but I'm just so proud for all our team at the farm. Everyone puts in so much time and effort. You know, of course, led by Dad, and you know, it's another Melbourne Cup triumph for Team Williams, and I'm just ecstatic.
Number 4 for your dad. This race means so much to him.
Oh, it does. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, we put a lot of money in and a heck of a lot of effort. And so to get this result today is terrific. And just
Fairway back, Glencairn Gold had the lead. Here's Miriam after him, and Green Moon is coming on. Kalini's joining in the middle too. They were clear then from Fiorente, starting to work home, and then came Jackleberry. Glencairn Gold is grabbed by Green Moon. Green Moon gets to the lead in the Melbourne Cup, followed by Kalini. Fiorente starting to come home. Green Moon out in front from Travel. He's 2 lengths clear from Fiorente, and Green Moon wins the Melbourne Cup by a length and a half. Fiorente, Jackleberry's running third. Kalini floor. Athos got home late, followed by Glencairn Gold. They were
Having been able to watch that race again for the second time, there's no doubt that Mount Athos was one of the really unlucky runners in the race. He got lost in the run, and he's finished it off full of running. But all honours going to Brett Preble. He just gave this horse the absolute peach of a ride from the good gate. Had him there to win. Fiorente got into a bullocking war coming.
Cox Plate, they're the ones he regards the jewels in the crown of this country's racing. It's another Melbourne Cup for him. It's been a beautiful preparation for both these horses. They both look winning chances on the home turn. Moraine just got a little tired. Green Moon sprinted to the lead. It was a most emphatic win. They've run 3:20.
With the minor place getters, Kalini in 4th, Mount Athos, perhaps the unlucky runner. He was 5th, Glencairn Gold for Gay in 6th. Moraine 7th, Red Cadeau 8th. Precedence has run 9th. My quest.
Lloyd Williams 4 for him. A brilliant Melbourne Cup, perhaps unexpected from the marketplace, with Fiorente running so well for Gay, another second for her, and Jackleberry is off to Japan now off that teasing performance. And of course, Mount Athos, eye-catching run there. But Michael, the wash-up for you, a fantastic Melbourne Cup with so much international focus.
I think, Bruce, that's right. It was perhaps the strongest Melbourne Cup field ever assembled. When you look at the fact there were 14 Group 1 winners that went around in the race. And what we see consistently through those sorts of numbers and just the feedback we get from trainers and owners is that this is one of the most coveted races globally to win. And that's great for us. We intend to keep it that way.
It's obviously going to be a
races, more exempt races for the locals, like the
races that aren't VRC races.
Look, I think we're always looking at each and every year again at the qualifying conditions for the Cup itself as well. We'll do that again this year. There's clearly a few races that need to be considered in that package. Geelong Cup, the Bart Cummings, it is a Flemington race, but it's a very high rating race. The Moonee Valley Cup, even the Herbert Power. I mean, there's a range of races that we will look at critically to see if we were to make a change, what might that change, or what might those changes be?
I have 20 kilos in every hand. So as soon as I let it down, actually I pressed him a bit soon, but you know, it's always hard to wait here when you got so much power underneath you. And but I was very confident that they weren't going to pick him up when I let him down, and he ran all the way through the wire, and it was a great feeling. And thanks, Lloyd.
The plan's to give him a rest, perhaps bring him back in the autumn, maybe run him in the Australian Cup. He likes Flemington. I'll have to discuss it with Adam, as you can see Adam behind me, but we'll have to decide on what we might do with him. But he's in very good order. We were thrilled with him yesterday. Adam will tell you here that, you know, he came off the float and we put him straight in.
He was better suited. There it is. Green Moon takes the Melbourne Cup. A lot of his followers jumped off after the Cox Plate, but I suppose hindsight's a wonderful thing. He was better suited there at Flemington.
He certainly was, and you're right. And I loved him before the Cox Plate for the Melbourne Cup and jumped off as well. We should have known. It was just a classic case of a horse set for one race, and that horse was ready on the day. I love the way Lloyd Williams involves his staff, leaving the strapper there, involving him in all the celebrations and even the interviews after the race there. Look at this horse, Savage the Line. Beautiful ride by Preble. There are a lot of bad rides in this race, a lot of bad rides. They walked and no one made a move. They were all looking, the stunned mullets they were, waiting for people to drag them into the race, some of these jockeys in this race. It was a real on-pace event. Fiorente, well, he mightn't be as expensive as we all thought. They say
They got their money back.
Yeah, well, just about. I think they paid a little bit more than what they got back, but he looks a cheap horse now because he's there for next year and even the year after. Jackleberry, Collini, all good. Mount Athos should have nearly won this Melbourne Cup. I thought it was an amazing performance considering the way the race was run. Look at him savaging the line here. Love to see him back next year, but I don't know whether he will be.
Yeah, pilot error there on Mount Athos, I think. And I'm not, not just picking on him because he's a European rider. There were, as you say, a lot of them there. I thought the winner was a brilliant ride, obviously. But the best ride outside of it, Tommy Berry on Glen Cadam Gold.
Yep.
He took control of that race early. They all gave up and thought, oh, well, Tommy's going to lead. Glen Cadam Gold's a leader. He'll just lead. Well, he led all right, but he led at an absolute canter.
Under his terms.
Exactly. And then he just built and built and built. And on the corner, he was going better than most other horses in the race. He hung on and ran fifth. Only classier horses beat him home. So it was an outstanding ride on a losing ride. And I wanted to point that out. Everything you said is right about that race. It was just a walk, trot and gallop. And no one saw it coming. And that's the problem.
What about some of these internationals?
Look, it's not an easy race to win, is it? And I can understand Luca straight after the race saying, oh, this is too hard. I don't want to come back here anymore. But the fact is he did bring the right horse. It's just that the circumstances didn't work out for him on the day. With speed on in that race, Mount Athos would have won that race.
Well, Mount Athos, along with Red Cadeau and Jackleberry, they were all locked in confirmation yesterday that they're all going to the Japan Cup. I think they fly out, on Tuesday. So those three are going for that.
There's your crowd. And the Oaks, most of the crowd can get a good look at it. It's only 13 minutes away, the main event here. And of course, the first leg of the daily double as well, the quaddie as well. Zydeco dominant, 260, 250, 240. On track open, 230. Has just got out to 245 in the last couple of minutes. Dear Demi's the toppy here. Look, she's a quality filly, Gator. A build up to the Oaks with
in the royal blue colours.
The burst of song. It is
So the slopes to move out of her barrier stall. She seemed to half knuckle. Mama's Choice began well. Tiana got away quickly with Transonic. Finnegan beginning again from the outside barrier is being hustled forward. So there's going to be a good deal of speed in the early part of the race now. And as they leave the straight and head to the 2,200 metres, it's Tiana in front of Finnegan beginning and Transonic. And just off the Marlin's Teardrop and then Gondokoro Elzora pushing through. And they were being followed then by Mama's Choice. Further back to Mama's Choice. And then came Elzora the outside. They were being followed back behind those horses. Zydeco, she's about the middle of the field. Lazuma on her outside. And then 2 lengths to Sum of Lessons, Zucotto. And further back in the field is Muratip, Dear Demi, a long way from them at the 1,200 metres, but they're running it very solidly. And Kate and Ten Black bring up the rear of the field. So it's Ireland's Teardrop heading to the 1,000 metres just in front. Finnegan beginning and going with it. 2 lengths to Gondokoro. Tiana fourth, the inside, a length and a half away. Then came Transonic running fifth. 2 behind them, Mama's Choice and Nick Elzora. And they're followed a couple of lengths away then to the favourite Zydeco. With on her outside is Lark Super as they're sweeping down to approach the home turn now. Summer Bliss is a fair way back and so is Zucotto as they're on the swing for home in the Oaks with about 600 metres left to go now. Muratip's one of the last. And into the straight they race now and Gondokoro's been left in front a long way from home. The leaders all collapsed around it. Transonic Elzora starting to run on. Further back here, Zydeco, she's got to the outside and Dear Demi, the 2 favourites, they're making the run runs together down the outside, and they've got the leaders covered. It's Zydeco and Dear Demi. Out of the Wakeful, they come to fight out the Oaks now. Elzora's trying to go with them, and then came Summer Bliss. Dear Demi on the outside, and Zydeco, 100 metres to go. They've drawn away from them now. Dear Demi with her nose in front of Zydeco. Dear Demi, Cassidy winds the clock back to his fifth Oaks. It's Dear Demi by a length to Zydeco's 2 lengths to Summer Bliss. The gap to Marantib, Transonic, and then Elzora, and behind them Gondokoro and 10 Black. Further back
He's a remarkable jockey. He's 49 years of age, Jim Cassidy, and he's now won 5 Oaks, but you've got to go back to 1990 since the 4th of those 5. So we're talking such a long time ago. It was a beautiful ride. He really...
Maybe while the singing was going on. And she's run the second favourite at $5, and that'll be your maxi div, the $5 SP. Right, stand by now for a full replay of the running.
It's not there for Singo, and Dear Demi, Jimmy Cassidy sacked the previous week after a poor ride, but still gets the win in the Oaks on Thursday. Obviously, the form stood up here, and Summer Bliss excellent for the future. Third start the race running third here, but Jimmy got it right.
Absolutely. He got to the outside. He gave this horse galloping room and a chance to stalk the favourite, and he hadn't had that in the 2 previous runs. Obviously unlucky in the 1,000 Guineas and then the Wakeful. Well, with that said, though, I think Zydeco was probably a little bit below her best. She didn't seem as strong through the line in this race as she was in the Oaks, and that's Summer Bliss to perform up to that standard at just her 3rd start.
Oh,
He's got a big future.
I'm going to tell you, the winner of the Derby and the winner of the Oaks were both the most experienced horses and had the most starts in the race.
Yeah, correct.
Well, after it was great scenes down there with Clary giving a birthday present to his wife, Marie. There's Singo using a phone also in the mounting yard. Another one he could have got turfed out for, apart from the shoes.
Also, I saw 900,000 other owners using their phones after it.
But produced this great line, and this is how it was set. Here's Singo after the Oaks.
I was really so disappointed with More Joyous, and then on Saturday, I mean, Jimmy, I've never seen him ride so bad, except on purpose. And he was asked to speak to me Clary asked me wisely, he didn't ring me till Sunday, and I told him how bad it was. I actually said we'll sack Jimmy and replace him with Nash, and Nash got suspended.
So you were close to it or not? He was sacked.
He was sacked, but in the meantime, Nash got himself sacked, so Jimmy got himself back on, and he rode it like he was asked to, just go wide, just like Kiwi. Not much to remember. Sit on the horse, don't fall off, and go wide. That's all.
Just slow it, don't you?
The funny thing is, I reckon if she comes wide on Saturday and has a hard run, maybe she doesn't beat Zydeco in the Oaks.
That's probably true, but isn't he fantastic for racing? So it's all the dramas and whether it's serious or not.
Can you speak him off the microphone?
Really no luck in the last couple of starts. The Oaks was run at a solid tempo, and that's suited her perfectly.
Yeah, they were the 2 dominant fillies. Throughout the carnival at Flemington there. Maybe did her a favour not having the hard run in the Wakeful. She sort of run through the line there, and I think that was the difference between winning and losing. She mightn't have needed a hard run leading into the main event, Richard.
Yeah, well, they're 2 nice fillies. A lot of fillies don't go on from this Oaks, but I think these 2 probably will. I think the difference between them on the day was that Dear Demi, a more seasoned filly, she's probably in her 2nd, maybe even her 3rd racing preparation. Zydeco in her 1st racing preparation. She got to the front, but then the stronger filly on the day was just too good for her. And it was a lovely ride from Jimmy Cassidy. It was a beautiful ride from Karen McAvoy. Summer Bliss, there's one to follow as well into 3rd spot there. She's in her first racing preparation.
Final to be excited about Summer Bliss. All right, let's go to race 4, the Heritage Stakes. So
Snips who's behind her with Zarzing. Seaside is switching close up the middle of the track. Burndini Burners well back, and also were Brave Soul towards the end now. Isabella Snowflake at the 300 had the lead to Cavalry Rose. Shamilwin coming down the outside. Now Maidung's in clear room, and she's coming home, and Satin Rock is right over on the far side. Shamilwin has sprinted very quickly though, and at the 200 metres has dashed away 2 to 3 lengths. She's left them behind. Here's Brave Soul starting to run on well, but Shamilwin with a dazzling turn of foot came away and won it by 2.5. Second, Brave Soul. Third is Isabella Snowflake, and Maidung ran 4th.
Yeah, very special. You know you're going right when you haven't even pressed the button yet, and everyone else is off the bit. And when I said go, she put pace on quick. I probably could have waited another 200 metres.
Shamal Wynn, she's a filly by Dubawi. She's only had 2 starts. She won at Ballarat in good style on debut, and that was pretty good there at Flemington, Richard.
Sure was. I mean, she doesn't look overly big, but I tell you, she's got a devastating turn of foot. It's going to carry her a long way. Will she make up into one of our top sprinters? Well, time will tell. She's probably a little small, but I tell you what, seeing is believing. 2 starts, 2 wins. It was devastating, right?
She looked pretty special, that win, didn't it? She twice now she's done it. The second horse should have finished a lot closer, Brave Soul. He waited too long on her. He still got hold of her here, and they're off and gone.
It was a good run, wasn't it, Brave Soul?
And he says, "Oh, I better get after this."
Yeah.
Too late.
He's got all the others, but not her.
Should have I don't know whether she would have beat the winner, but she should have fought the finish out a lot closer than that.
How's the track been this week, Ron?
Outstanding. Full credit to Mick.
The Group 1s here. This is the Patnack Farm Classic. It's a weight for age sprint race at 1,200 metres the distance. And, oh, gee, there's some good horses at good prices in this race. Very competitive race. And any horse you like, you are going to get good odds comparatively about that horse. Sea Siren, the mare, is the favourite at 460 ahead of Buffering at 540 and Mental at $6. They're all coming through.
5 out to $6 for number 1, Buffering, back in to 550. So some punters sticking fat. 10 Bullets down. Ready to Rip is 31 out to 51. Mental, $6 to $7. Your unders the Toad. Tiger Tease, 13 to 14. Bells to 31 now. How much do you love me? Yep, not as much anymore. 15 to 21 apparently. Sea Siren out to 460 open, 420 here. Halliwell Bell, the next one we'll look at, TRB number 11. He's 14 out to 50.
Sea Siren. Runner's been called in for one of the feature attractions of the day. Let's head up to Greg Miles for the call.
Cassidy after his in the Patnack now. Sea Siren jumped away well. So did Buffering. Temple of Boom got away quickly. Tiger Tease. How Much Do You Love Me was showing plenty of speed as well as they settle down now. So through the first couple of 100 metres and going very quickly, Snitzerland on the far side would probably have the overall lead in the race out towards the 850 metres. Tiger Tease is up there in the all white and Buffering's virtually making a solo run all on his own right down the outside. Sea Siren is just in behind the leading bunch of horses and she's being followed Ready to Rip and Lone Rock. How Much Do You Love Me and Spirit of Boom over on the far side, not far away. Metal is following Sea Siren everywhere and Satin Shoes is in behind the leading bunch for cover. And further back in the field is Bell Sprinter and Halliwell Bell's a long way back. Buffering's under extreme pressure on the outside here. It's Snitzerland in front. Sea Siren's coming after it. Tiger Tease in the middle. Here comes Metal with a run now. Sea Siren and Metal race to the lead together from Tiger Tease and Snitzerland. Metal raced up to Sea Siren. 100 metres to go. Metal the outside and Sea Siren paired out. It's Metal going home the best on the outside. And Metal won the Patnack and half to Sea Siren. 3 lengths Halliwell Bell came from the clouds to grab third. From close up either How Much Do You Love Me, Tiger Tease or Snitzerland. Just behind them then was Spirit of Boom down on the inside. Buffering beating the 3-year-old one of the last home.
Well, Mental getting home, yes, Greg. Mental getting home. I think it's his last run in Australia. He's off to join the Blue Godolphin team. Peter Snowden's done a brilliant job with him. He's timed this.
Sitting shot for one and only one could get her. Halliwell Bell today got further than probably we expected. And she's been terrific in the circumstances.
Tiger Tease been enormous too.
Yeah, Tiger.
One that's his last run in Australia for the Godolphin team.
Yeah, he's heading overseas, so we're going to be sad to see him go. But Peter and Paul and the team have really made him into a quality sprinter, and Pete picked this.
A gun ride too from Karen.
Yeah, he sweated on the favourite, and everywhere Jimmy went, he was right beside him. And when Jimmy started to come off the bridle about the 300, we were still going well. I was quietly confident that he'd run well. But to her credit, though, she dug deep. She didn't give in, and he had to work really hard to get the win.
You've had this race in mind for him for a while.
Little turns around there on Sea Siren off the Manikato Stakes into the Patnack Farm Classic. And Karen just watching there, you looked to be just stalking Jimmy wherever he went. You were there, a bit of shades of Golden Edition and Miss Andretti.
Yeah, that's right. It really suited this fella being down the straight. He was able to sit a little bit closer to that leading group and just got a nice trail behind Jimmy. I sort of was unsure how it was going to sort of work out itself, the race beforehand, but just went with an open mind. And this fella really blew them away with his splits.
Well, going around a bend like at the Valley, because you've got to fit all those into, say, 1 or 2 or 3 lines at worst. Jimmy probably sits 1-1 on Sea Siren. Mental's probably 3 or 4 pairs back, giving it 4 or 5 lengths. Up the straight, it's able to sit a length and a half off with them all being fanned over. And they proved that was the strongest force.
Keeps you for Ascot, because for me, I reckon the July Cup, if I was taking him over there, that'd be the race I'd be going for.
Obviously, Karen's quite a few of these going. Ambidexter, freewheeling in Juniper, Pieta Terre all going over. But It hasn't been a huge success in the past, and obviously there's still a bit of tinkering with how the handover happens and what happens with them once they get there.
Yeah, I think it's important to send them there after having a nice spell. You know, it's been said, Peter said before, that we probably rushed a couple of the preparations with Denman and the last group.
Darren McAvoy, his riding over the 4 days of the Carnival, that was a peach, that ride, an absolute peach. And they were peaches on Zydeco twice, both of them, beautiful rides. And I watched him riding over the Carnival and thought, you know, if anyone's found a ride that wasn't stellar from Karen McAvoy over those 4 days, they were splitting hairs.
Paul Snowden looks after him when he's in Melbourne.
You know, he's not many horses can toe the line with him, as you've seen yesterday. And his sectionals, when you see the splits were just, I think he's broke 11 3 times, and his last furlong was 12 something. So, you know, he put him away early and continued that to the line. So, you know, that suggests that he's a quality horse.
What races would you see?
Well,
I'm convinced. Well, it was already on the board anyway. But Sea Siren's a terrific mare.
She did all the hard work and trail, and basically
she was ambushed.
He drafted her.
Yeah,
he drafted her into the race.
Yeah. Halliwell Bell was great from the back of the field, and Tiger Tease was his usual game self. But the first two are high quality animals.
Okay, now for the running of the second $1 million Group 1 events here today. This is the Emirates Stakes over the 1600 metres. But first, let's tidy up the previous race at Warwick Farm. Solzhenitsyn second pick on the tote ahead of Fat Al at $8. Fat Al, of course, coming off his win in the Epsom. Let's get into them now.
Into 16 for Happy Trails. There's been money though, not surprisingly, into 14. Playing Guide has been $31, no movement. Solzhenitsyn, it's remarkable. Secret of Morris has been nibbled, 16 into $14. Down to Streamer. Streamer's $4.
Scratched.
It's interesting. That's the second time I've done that. We'll go with the Faulkner 480 out to 550. I'm trying to get her to run. Happy Zero is 26 out to 31. Rolling Pin for Pear Tart. Smoking Joey's at big odds. He was a $21 chance. The last
there with those split screens. Here's the there's another look at the Emirates Stakes market. 490, 810, 850, and $10.
He's remarkable. All 10 or 12 to 1. Money for the 2. Happy Trail, 16 into 13.
Richard
in the Emirates now. And Happy Trail's one of the first to bounce out. And as they settle into stride, there's a bit of pace coming from the outside. Rolling Pin away with a flyer, crossed over them comfortably and found the lead. Fadela's quickly up into second placing, and Solzhenitsyn's there with Pear Tart. Ambidexter's going to settle just off the speed in fifth placing, followed by Playing God. A length and a half further back is Spirit Song, and then Faulkner is about midfield the rail. A length and a half away then came Happy Trails, and then Freewheeling He's Remarkable, Wall Street, Yosei, Secret Admirer, and they're followed by Smokin' Joey and Happy Zero 2 lengths away. So Rolling Pin stretches the field out at a strong gallop. Fat Al's running second, a length and a half. Solzhenitsyn a Nectar Pear Tart, 2 lengths away then came Playing God. Ambidexter's had a dream run, and 2 lengths further back Faulkner the rail. They're followed by Happy Trails out wide, and then Spirit Song in the middle. Next is He's Remarkable, and they're followed then by Freewheeling. Wall Street well back as they cornered, followed by Happy Zero, and well back then Yosei Playing for Luck along the inside. Into the straight now in the Emirates, and Rolling Pin kicked about 2 lengths to Fat L. Solzhenitsyn's running on strongly. Faulkner's made plenty of ground, getting right up on the inside, and wider is Happy Trails and Ambidexter, and Secret Admirer is right over on the outside. Faulkner's burst through the pack, and he's hit the lead from Solzhenitsyn. Happy Trails comes on. Secret Admirer coming down the outside, and Yosei getting up on the fence with about 50 metres to go. Secret Admirer and Happy Trails race to Faulkner. Happy Trails and Secret Admirer, they hit the line. Happy Trails a nose to Faulkner. In the final Group 1, I think he's got there. Close up Secret Admirer from Yosei for third. And then Solzhenitsyn, Wall Street, Ambidexter, Fadel followed by Rolling Pin. And behind those two, Pear Tart and Happy Zero. And at the end of the field is Spirit Song.
Magnificent finish. This is a typical Emirates, isn't it? It's a head and a head. It's Happy.
He's really stepped up, and I was ruining the fact that I'd missed him early in his campaign this time. And after the Cox Play, even before the Cox Play, I said to Paul, don't forget me for this race. I think he can win it.
Fabulous.
And
very great moment, Hank, and a good one for Damien too. Damien's always stuck by me, and
You know, if I want anyone to ride track work in it, he'll always come down. So he deserves this win, and so does this horse.
He went around in the Cox Plate, but you could almost forget that he went around in the Cox Plate.
Oh, yeah, he just didn't have any luck. He just got laid on, and
You went to the Cox Plate, and some people wanted to criticise that decision, but it was a Cox Plate. And did you feel you had the horse ready? You were confident in his ability, and you're entitled to have a crack at the track?
You've earned your shot there. You know, you go to the Olympic Games, you go in all the qualifying heats. You're not going to get in the final and say, I'm not going in it because someone tells you no.
Were you disappointed in Bossy after he won the data, what he said?
No, I'm not disappointed. It's his agenda. He's got his races picked out where he wants to go. I got my races picked out where we want to go.
You were full of praise yesterday in the interview.
A very compressed scale, isn't he? So he's not going to get much relief from handicaps going forward.
No.
Who cares, Paul?
Who cares? 1.2 million for 11,000. Thank you.
That's what the accountant said. Here's
She ran out of her skin. The tempo third. We got the outside. We hit the front probably for a stride there at about the 80-metre mark, and we would just kick back and beat us. No, she ran out of her skin.
I was watching the Blair Witch Project which I has. It's seasick after that. Something like camera work. Well, obviously under that weight scale with 56 and a half, he was very close to those horses at the top of the weights that had the proven Group 1 form. So his effort was very, very good. In Secret Admirer, we talk about horses that have been up for a while and maybe getting tired. She's running everything that there was to run in really this spring, and another terrific effort.
Well, she runs well, doesn't win.
Well, that's true.
Of starts back, of course, in the Dato. $13 on track. He did beat Green Moon a couple of starts back, of course, in the Dato Tange Nam Stakes. Happy trails. And of course, he's trained in South Australia.
Percent effort. Even when he's beat, he's not beat. It's always sort of, you know, I know it's the same cliche that, you know, there's bad luck in a race, but he's had some bad luck.
Paul, he had a tough run, and he's a pretty durable horse.
Well, Rod, you always said he should have won the Doncaster. You stuck by him, and so I thought, well, good.
And you're going to get revenge in the Doncaster this year, next year?
Yeah, he'll go. Yeah, he's going to go back.
Well, the question,
Go back.
the question about that, Paul, and congratulations, fantastic effort with the horse. He's beautifully turned out. He's probably weighted out of handicaps now, wouldn't he be? It's going to be tough from now on. So what's the plan ahead?
Oh, well, I'll just see what sort of weights he's going to get. Like, I'd really like to have a go at the Doncaster. But it might be just stuck for weight for age now.
Gone to the Matriarch, and they've been a pretty lean week for
Silent Achiever outside Crafty Una, Rocket and Manila Jewel bringing up the rear. Coming down the side of the course and heading to the 800 metres, still Candelaria in front, Full of Spirit second, Midnight Martini third, and 3/4 is in fourth placing. Then on the outside, Lakes Intentia. Now, Silent Achiever's been following Lakes Intentia. She's had cover, she's had a good run, and it'll be a matter of whether she can sprint home from there. Crafty Una, Manila Jewel, Rocket bringing up the rear. Candelara's controlled the speed, swings for home in the Matriarch, just over a length clear now from Full of Spirit, Midnight Martini. Crafty Una now, Silent Achiever's creeping up to try and get the back of Lakes Intentia. The sprint on for home now, they're into the straight. Candelara goats for home, 2 lengths Midnight Martini still with a kick. Silent Achiever with some work to do. She's winding up out wide. Will she get there? Passing the 300 now. Midnight Martini got to the lead. On the outside, Lakes Intentia. Silent Achiever's battling at the moment. It's Midnight Martini with 150 to go. About a length in front of Lakes Intentia. Crafty Una's bursting through, but Midnight Martini wins it by 3/4 of a length, Lakes Intentia.
Yep, another favourite going under there, and pretty plain. Silent Achiever for Huey Bowman. But Mark Kavanagh with Midnight Martini, and of course the Cranbourne Cup winner. And Michael Rod just clicks with this mare. Absolutely gets it down to a T. Knows the horse inside out. This was brilliant tactical work by Rod on Midnight Martini.
He's had a good Flemington week, hasn't he? A few winners there for him. Well, nice horses.
The favourite, I'd have to say that ridden over confidently, and James McDonald, who I'm a big fan of, he's an outstanding young rider. It's just a couple of times this spring he's been over confident.
Come on, get your facts right.
Sorry, Hugh Bowman rode it yesterday. I should, James, I take it back. Hughie.
There's been McDonald bashing all the way through this carnival. I couldn't see a thing wrong with this ride.
Oh,
if you go back through and have a look at every one of her runs, she comes from last. He drove around the barrier. He was within a length of them on the turn, and she just can't sprint. He's got the pattern, not. She can't adapt to tempo.
You're too much into patterns. I'll give you the tip. But I want to apologize. Can I just say something?
If you want to have a look at that race from the start, he tried to take up a position.
No.
She just doesn't go well.
After a Group 1. Is this next year's Melbourne Cup winner? Bossy thinks so. Puissance de Lune.
And then Mudra lost in the moment third last and then excluded. And at the end on the outside was Vatuvai. So down past 1,000, missed with attitude by 2. Puissance de Lune now running second. Folding Gear a further 2 lengths away on the inside of Ironstein. 2 Tanby. A length and a half Light the Night, Streaky Fella. 2 lengths to Dare to Dream. And then came Shawadi. Mudra next as they neared the turn from lost at the moment. Vatuvai back at the end of the field in company with Excluded. On the swing for home. And the leader is Missed with Attitude. She's going to straighten up clear from Puissance de Lune. Einstein's on the scene. Tanby joins in. He's had a good run. He puts in his run on the outside. Then Folding Gear, Light in the Night. Further back, Streaky Fella, Dare to Dream. Shawadi hasn't been let down yet. And Light in the Night is coming home as they went to the 300. Oh, Puissance de Lune put a gap in them. Put a gap in them, he did, and he's got 4 lengths in front of Tanby, followed by Ironstein, then Dare to Dream, and further back is Shawadi, but he's got a sprint like an Oakley Plater at the end of a staying race. Have a look at this. Bossingwood has posed for the photo, and he's bolted in Puissance de Lune by 5 lengths. Second, Ironstein, third.
And for all those punters who took the $1.20 at Warrnambool when it was beaten by Hornets Nest, I hope you've stuck through all the way through the Bendigo Cup canter by, how far was that? By 8, and another 7 yesterday. I think that's just something pretty special there. Pretty special.
Brilliant. It was arrogant. It was sexy. What do you want to say
about
about
it? Sectional times here. We're only putting one set up here because the rest don't matter. And they weren't hacks behind. One quicker time than Mental in the Patnack.
A couple of people said, "Oh, look, Dare to Dream's getting out." I said, "Yeah, but that grey horse seems to be a long way in front now."
It was the sort of win during a Cup Carnival. It was the best sort of win to have because it gets people excited about a horse.
Spot on the mark.
Gets people excited about racing, and they will be following that. They'll be following Puissance de Lune all the way through next spring. Bossie's up and about, the tongue hanging out.
That's what having Bossy on it and doing it. All right, Brad really got suspended. Bossy wasn't even going to go to Bendigo until he got the chopper. He went up there and he lands on this. Cost €90,000. Now you've been buying all
$100,000 Australian.
Well, we probably should touch on that. €90,000. Rob Rules.
Manifold was fantastic. It was there.
Well, the bottom line, I think, for Puissance de Lune is here's a horse that has always shown some ability. We saw him at Warrnambool. We all saw him, the three of us, we were down there.
He drifted at Warrnambool when he won.
He did. He won so well. He's come back. He's run some nice races, provincial, midweek sort of grade. And now here he is, Bendigo Cup track record, and all of a sudden he's up to a grip race during the Carnival and he's flogged them again. It's massive progression and it's very, very rapid, and that's what's so exciting.
And let me tell you, I'd love it with last night with John.
He's got a sprint like an Oakley Plater at the end of a staying race. Have a look at this. Bossingwood has posed for the photo. And he's bolted in Puissance de Lune by 5 lengths.
Oh, that was probably the performance of the 4 days over the Flemington Carnival, without a doubt.
Did you ever let him go?
Never let him go.
We're already talking next year's Cup run.
Why wouldn't they? I think he's a little bit better than She's Archie. Boy, oh boy, he's got a devastating sprint, this horse. He's run the second fastest sectional 600 of the day. His last 2 wins have been unbelievable. I can see he's on fresh legs here and probably set for the one race, but Glenn Boss prides himself on looking for Melbourne Cup rides. All he's got to do from about July next year is ring up every 2 weeks and see if this horse is still breathing, because this will be his ride next year, because it's a serious stayer. And I'll tell you something, if he gets a wet track, he's twice as good. He just got every box covered.
You don't put the moz on him too quickly.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
I mean, anything can happen between now
I
and
wouldn't
12
like to be
months.
going out spending $1 million or $2 million on a stayer from overseas, knowing I got that to contend with next year.
Yeah, but it's a lot of water to go under the bridge.
Look, I can see that.
In 24 hours, let alone,
you'd have
12 months.
You'd have to say that was a serious win.
Oh, look, no doubt. And if the Melbourne Cup was being run next week, you'd be, but it is 12
Don't get me
months
wrong.
away.
I don't want to go and take $10 or whatever it
Well,
is.
$8 he
Well,
is
that's
now.
ridiculous.
He's $8.
Forget about that. He's still going to be that 2 months out from.
I tell you what his best weapon in his arsenal is that he relaxes. He just drops a bit. You saw him coming back.
Race last year to American and Managar. Now, they're certainly not here.
51 Orion. So Sporting Bet Market Mover in the Deathly Design Zipping Classic is number 1, Orion.
So Miriam ready on the inside as the field is assembling. Here's Rawneck coming up into the back now. Dame Claire tries to do it all. Miriam staying right in contact with her, and a length and a half away is precedence at the 800. Garud the rail. 2 exceptionally Rawneck, a further 2 lengths to Tanby, who's about 7 or 8 from the leader as they neared the turn. And then he's hot to trot. Pneumatic is last. 600 to go now. Bowman makes his move on Miriam and he strides up on the outside to join Dame Claire. Precedence has been following the favourite everywhere and he peels for his run. Tarud can come through near the inside. Here's Tanby and Exceptionally coming down the outside. Tell you what, Dame Claire got her second win early in the straight, but is there a lot there? Here they come. Tanby's raced up, gone past them. Tanby sprinted to the lead now from Precedence. Murray and Exceptionally is to come home, but Tanby the leader. Hold of the whip in the left hand, out by 2 lengths. Exceptionally trying to dive at him late. Tanby's hanging on though, and Tanby gets home by 3/4. Exceptionally second, Precedence 2 lengths third, and then Rawnack and Murray finish off. He's hot to trot. Claire knocked up late.
Next time we come back in, but put the head back down and got the prize. Exceptionally doing what Exceptionally does, running an eye catcher again, running second. But Dane Belt able to find producing mare she's been, the Faulkner as well, and Viking Star in Adelaide. And the race panned out well. Weight for age, I'm not sure of the true weight for age contest there, but Tanby home sub 12 seconds from the final furlong. Still the best horse won. We'll get to the beaten jockey shortly, but best horse won on the day.
Yeah, Tanby, obviously.
All right, Sydney Cup's his goal, Rich, I think, for
Williams produced the winner there, Tanby. They've had a good spring run.
They certainly have, and they'd love to win this race, the Zipping Classic. And look, this Tanby, he's a good, tough campaigner. That's 3 weeks in a row now. He's backed up. He franked that Puissance de Lune form there, which looks very strong now. And he come with a great turn of speed there at the finish. Few people talking, now we've got all these European horses here and for the Sydney Cup. Maybe it's time to start promoting the Sydney Cup back up again, because with all these stayers around now, all these imported horses, it could turn into a pretty good race.
That's not a bad idea, I think.
Even your Brisbane Cups and your Adelaide Cups, it could be we could rejuvenate both of them. Staying races.
What you say is right. There's so many 3,200 metre type horses around now that have been imported and more on the way. So maybe those races do need a relook. I'm not sure this horse is a weight for age horse, even though he's won a weight for age race now. It looked like
Sporting bet Sandown Guineas. And this is a cracking race. Terrific lineup of 3-year-olds here as we have a look at the market for this. Runners in the yard for the Guineas. Luna Rise comes up tote favourite.
And missing it badly, 2 to 3 lengths away then was Edgewood. And the first one out, Dances on Stars. Tatra began well with Moreau and Hunger's up there. Elanee just off them, followed by Eximius. But after 200, it's the filly Moreau came Flying Skipper and 2 lengths to Timely Truth last, but well strung out. And Moreau had the lead at the 800. A length in front, Hunger running second. Tatra's third, Cracked ahead away fourth. Dances on Stars is fifth. Elanee is sixth, and then came Luna Rise. 1.5 to Gold Medals, being followed by Just Forget It and Eximius. 2 to Proverb out wider when they swing, and then came Right to Rome as they swing into the straight. Host of the party's a fair way back. Now Moreau down towards the 450, led by 2 lengths to Hunger. Here's Tatra running on. Elanege threading through. Eximius tries to follow it through. And then came Luna Rise, hooked to the outside. Tatra hit the lead now with 200 metres to go. Here comes Luna Rise, starting to storm down the outside. Tatra in front from Luna Rise and Proverb. Tatra just in front of Proverb. Tatra's click. Get the line. Tatra just last. Tatra's clinging on a half head in front. They hit the line. Tatra just last. And there followed Edgewood, who bombed it but flew late. Further back then was Just Forget It, being followed by Host of the Party and Dances on Stars. Gold medals, but Tatra gets it.
Tatra wins for Darley. It's their third win in the race in the last 4 years, or 5 years, with Caymans and Kidnapped, and the Carbine Club form turned around here. Not much, but enough for Tatra, who turns it round on Luna Rise.
Not huge margins between them, so probably not a lot between a lot of those top level or second level 3-year-olds. There's your totes, English. Tatra!
Got a great ride there by Karen McAvoy and Darley finishing off the Carnival in good style. First and third there, turning it round on Luna Rise off the Carbine Club. There wasn't much between them there, and there wasn't much between them yesterday. Pretty straightforward. Sandown Guineas have panned out, didn't it?
Absolutely. And the Carbine Club again shows that it's probably the premier form race leading into this event. The pedigree was interesting. I know Richie will come over with a comment in a minute, but a Hassane. Very, very rare for Darley to have a Hassane. Obviously, they've bought this one at the sales, and gone through. It's done a terrific job. Touch
Race the Sandown Guineas. The same three horses that ran the placings in the Carbine Club Stakes, Richard, fought out the finish here.
Indeed. I thought that was actually quite pertinent. And Pete's comments are exactly right. He's identified the second level ones and set them for the race. And that is just very, very good training. There was
on Melbourne Cup Day, we should have taken more notice of this one because this is an exciting horse. This is VRC winning the Colonel Reeves Stakes and taking his record to 10 out of 10.
They come around the home turn. He railed beautifully. VRC turned for the judge. He's 2.5 in front. Word trying to stick. Then about 5 lengths to Waratah's Secret. Brown pulls the whip. VRC responding. Word battling hard, but VRC with 100 metres to go has got them done. And this is 10 out of 10. Here's a beauty. On he goes, VRC, to a great roar from the crowd. He won it by 4 lengths to Word and Waratah's Secret. Begum's Boy next home.
Yeah, that was on Tuesday at Ascot, Tuesday on Cup Day. VRC over there in WA at the moment.
Now that's good for Perth racing. Unbeaten horses. We've seen it with Black Caviar, the unbeaten factor. That's what brings people to the track. While that horse remains unbeaten, he could make the Summer Carnival, the crowd-wise.
Yeah, they've got some good racing coming up, Richard.
Very hard trick of hope.
Stripper Kevy Dot went to the 200 a length. Mabel Grace, how old fella? Here's Lucky Grey. He's starting to storm down the outside. He's back the Grey. Lucky Grey quickly descends upon them, races to the lead. Down the outside, rattling home is Luke's Luck. God has spoken, how old fella, but Lucky Grey back in devastating style wins the Lustia.
Even though he didn't win in Melbourne, that when he ran that Super Fourth in that Heavy 14 race, Robert Smurden and all them blokes said, you'll find out that'll take this horse to another level in fitness because that was a real gut buster. Toughen this horse up.
That was the Lexus Stakes from Ascot on Saturday as they head towards their Summer Carnival. Yes, he was campaigning in Melbourne. He had that virus, but it's great to see him back, Ron.
Yeah, that's a devastating first up win. He's back to his best, no doubt, and keen to look at him over the Perth Summer Carnival.
Yes.
Third, but Academus to Karen McAvoy and Peter Snowden. The winner of the first of the features, the Group 2 Sky Racing WA Guineas, the Winterbottom Stakes. It's 3 minutes away, but as you can see, runners are still in the yard here. Marrakey, well, this is his toughest test to date for Jim Taylor, the key business 5-year-old. Jim Taylor, of course, had Haylist for the first 9 races of his career before John McNair from New South Wales.
The running of the Crown Perth Winterbottom, $500,000 at Group 1 level. Red lights are on. Stand by, racing now. Barraquee got out well from deep out, but Word was the first to go, and Travanator left brilliantly off the inside, and he'll lead them at the end of 150, but Brown's coming over, and Barraquee's at his girth in the twinkling of an eye. Word third from Spirit of Boom, and they're being followed by Conservatorium, settling back in the pace, really quickening up from Hello Well Bell, Waratah's Secret. Pinwheel was run off his legs at the 800, and a clear last is Power Princess as the field strings out behind the freewheeling Travanator. It's Travanator, the leader, 600 to go by a length on Barraquee. Brown's having to shake him up to stay with the leader. Then a length and a half to Word, Spirit of Boom. Conservatorium going around the outside, starting to work into the race, followed by Hello Well Bell, and then Waratah's Secret, Pinwheel second last, and Power Princess going up near the fence around the corner. Travanator turned in front. Brown releases the brakes on Barraquee. Barraquee got to him. Behind them, Spirit of Word, Conservatorium. He pulls the whip, 100 to go. Barraquee's the leader. Spirit of Boom, the Queen Flanders in pursuit. It's Barraquee, Spirit of Boom. Our Princess on the rail. He's run them off their legs to make it 11. He's done it. Barraquee's won the Winterbottom, unbeaten after 11 starts. He's won from Spirit of Boom or Power Princess and Flying Pinwheel. Behind them, Conservatorium, followed by Waratah's Secret and Hello Well Bell. Travanator, weakening from the corner, has run second last, and Word brought up the tail of the field. Barraquee, Jason Brown, riding for dear life, has won from Spirit of Boom, Nash Rawiller.
Hey, gallopers too. They had a big day, the Sand Gropers. All right, the boys are here. Ron Dufficy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt. What a sensational day it looked at Ascot in Perth yesterday with, well, I think the highlight of the day has to be Barraquee. 11 from 11 against a real field yesterday. He did it at both ends, and you have to, any of his doubters shouldn't doubt him this morning. He's a super sprinter.
He sure is. He's very exciting.
To run behind horses, but it's a bit new to him, and he probably took me out of my comfort zone for a little while today, but once he found the front, he wasn't going to get beat.
Barracuda, yes, 11 starts, 11 wins now. He had to overcome that wide barrier, but he was just too classy for him. By the way, Ronnie, this is the horse I should have been referring to as a possible Oakley Plate contender next year.
Confused by that.
Quite possibly that's on the cards. We'll find out, and it might be up to a Melbourne Autumn Carnival.
Wow, he was so impressive yesterday. Look, there was a few doubters, and I must say, I'd say before yesterday, I said, well, this horse is in a real race today. I don't want to back him. I want to sit back and watch. And he delivered the goods. He was something special, doing it at both ends. There's no doubt about it.
All right, well, let's head back to Perth.
Look, he's a very good horse. I wonder what I was going to ask Jim, what his distance limit is. How far will this horse go? Was he up to his distance?
I think he'll go 1400, no worries. He's a very relaxed horse. If we took the blinkers off, he'd even go further. But
with him, he's won 11 from, say, the Melbourne Autumn.
Yeah, definitely probably the set for the Oakley and the Newmarket Handicap. They're sort of, I spoke to Greg.
All right, and they're calling him West Aussie Caviar over here. I suppose once you've won 11 out of 11, there's always going to be a little bit of a comparison coming with Black Caviar. How does that sit with you? Is that create a bit of pressure?
Yeah, leading into the race, there was a fair bit of pressure, just trying to keep the unbeaten run going. And yeah, well, obviously Black Caviar is the best in the world, but if we could be the second best, I'd be very happy.
A couple of quick things before we let you go.
The Carlton Draft Railway Stakes market. We're only 10 minutes out, in fact 8 minutes out from start time. Lucky Grey at 4:30, looking to break some serious records here and become the first horse in 45 years to go back-to-back Railway Stakes. Has to carry plenty of weight and break a weight carrying record of 42 years to do so. Fat Alf at $5.50 for Gay has been the best backed runner all week. Ranger Fresh Group 1 mile, it's $6.10. It's trialled well. And the next best is feature event today, the Carlton Draft Railway Stakes, the Group 1, where Lucky Grey is the favourite at $4.20. And as we mentioned, has attracted good on-track support, although after getting into
Racing. Missing it, Yosei. She was the last away. God has spoken from the inside, playing God, and also Fat Alan West River Kevidon commenced nicely from Niblick. Just behind them, King Thal settling into stride. Machino's going up midfield from Mr. Moet. They're being followed by Ranger. Rosie Rocket couldn't get over. She's a little deep, settling from Battle Emblem. Yosei down on the inside. Lucky Grey's back third from last with Wall Street Zester. And Lord L leads the way. West River Kevidon has to sit outside of him. They're a length and a half clear from the stablemates on the inside. God has spoken and playing God, who's getting a world perfect run. Then 2 lengths to Niblick, 1 to Mr. Moet down on the inside of King Saul. Wide out, Rosie Rocket, 7.50 to go from Machino. Over on the inside, Yosei, Wall Street, further back, Battle Emblem. Ranger back on the inside, Lord's Ransom. Then came Zester and Lucky Grey, Stone Motherless last, the top weight. 500 metres to go. Fat Al called upon as they'd come to the corner from West River Kevidon. Playing God pulled off his heels. He's going up 3 deep. On the fence, God has spoken. Right behind the Mr. Moet, Niblick to the outside, then King Saul starting to wind up as well, and then Lucky Grey to the outside. In the straight and playing God reaches the lead, 250 metres to go from West River Kevidon and Mr. Moet, Rosie Rocket, Wall Street. There's Lucky Grey coming down the outside now. God Spoken's got up on the fence. Mr. Moet, though, hits the front. A boil over. Mr. Moet first up. He's won the railway from Lucky Grey. Not sure about third. Playing God. God has spoken. Rosie Rocket. What a win it's been by Mr. Moet. Won't the corks be a popper now? In behind them came Fat Al, Yosei, Machino, Zester next in. That'll
Dan Stake on board Mr. Moet. They did back him from 31 into 20 on course. He's returned $21 on Super Tab.
What a win it's been by Mr. Moet. Won't the corks be a popper now?
Do you know anyone who took the 100 to 1 earlier in the week? 150 to 1. I took some of it a while back, so you don't have to have a lot on when they're that price. But great effort, and very happy. My next door neighbour owns a horse, so great effort, and very happy. My next door neighbour owns a horse, so just the right horse.
Mr. Moet or Mr. Moe, whatever you prefer. He was spot on yesterday. First up into a railway stakes. That's never an easy assignment. But look, he's a model of consistency. Never an easy assignment. But look, he's a model of consistency. He's won 11 of his 24 starts, and he's won 5 out of 8 at Ascot. But it is a big training performance.
My word, it was. He hadn't raced since the Strickland Stakes, and the stablemate who ran second in that race won the same day as well yesterday, which we'll talk about later. But That was a sensational ride by Daniel Stake. He just put him in the perfect spot. Nothing went wrong. He got out at the right time and obviously landed some good bets first up there yesterday. He is a talented horse. Saying that, second and third horses should have fought this race out. There's no doubt about it. Lucky Grey was desperately unlucky. He had to go back from an awkward draw. He got no card into the race. He had 58. He had to do it all himself. He had to spear on the turn. Convinced second and third should have fought the race out, but that's racing. It comes down to the best ride won the race.
Favourite. Got out to 240, so the Grey's backed in 230 now. Mall Street in a point to 12. The Gallops, the Kingston Town Classic, Group 1 level. Lucky Grey, he was mighty with that big weight. And nearly defied a little bit of history to win.
Sing as well. Mr. Moet from the inside, and God has spoken, the first to get out. Lucky Grey jumped quick away. Ranger getting caught up behind their heels, and then Colour Correct. Shammer Dashing's down on the rails at the 700. They're followed by Zesta Machino's last of all. It's Lopov, the leader, 3/4 on Chester Road when they approach the turn. Over on the inside, Ballora. Parnham bides his time with Playing God. Around them goes Lucky Grey. Right behind them, Pop Culture, followed by God Has Spoken, and then Fuddly Duddle looking to get into the clear from Rosie Rocket. Around the turn, Chester Road hit the front. Playing God in pursuit with Ballora. Lucky Grey. Top Culture runs on. 200 to go. Lucky Grey, Playing God together. Fuddly Duddle's running on strongly, so's Mr. Moet. Lucky Grey hits the front, pulls away. Then on the outside, Mr. Moet, but Lucky Grey rebounds to win the Kingston Town a length to Mr. Moet. He turned the tables on him. For third, it's close. God Has Spoken on the inside of Pop Culture. Playing God there as well, and Fuddly Duddle, Ballora, Machino from the tail running on. Then came Shammer Dashing. Next home, at the head of the others was Lopov, Chester Road, a gap.
He's a very popular galloper in WA. He wins his second Group 1. His first was the Railway in 2011. Ridden by Sean O'Donnell and trained, of course, by Gino Paletti, who's joining us.
That's the furthest he's going to go. What's the ideal trip, do you feel, for Lucky Grey, say, autumn time?
Well, he's won 5 of 5 at 1200. He's very, very potent, fresh in 12 and 1400 metre races, and he's a very good miler, so it opens up quite a few avenues. But you probably wouldn't want to
aim him out in the autumn.
And the entries aren't close, so you're not affecting the punting at this stage, Gino.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Is there a chance you could take on Black Caviar?
Probably not in the Lightning, but if you was to go on the Newmarket, there might be a chance.
So do you regard the
of the Japan Cup, and there is Orfeva. He's on his toes. He's all set to go. The internationals haven't won the race for a little while. Alka said won the race in 2005 for Frankie Dettori. Falbrav back in 2002 and Pil Sugglehold on their hometown cup. It's a rematch here. Salemia and Orfev. They're going to go at it again, these two. They filled the first two placings in the Arc about a month ago, and they meet again this afternoon in Tokyo in Japan for the Japan Cup. Mount Athos has to be a great chance, of course. Jacklebury likewise, and as mentioned, these 3-year-olds, pardon me, Fenomeno and Gentle Donna at a stack of interest, and Rulership. If
racing in the Japan Cup, blowing the start was Rulership. That's not a good sign for him. He likes to get away early to be right in the finish. As they settle into stride after the first 150 metres, Gentle Donna goes on this year. Beat Black leads out from Tosin Jordan, getting over from a wide gate, and Phenomeno is up there early with Sri Putra. Past the winning post, the Brie, and Meisho Kampaku is still last. As they get to the 1,000-metre pole, Beat Black is trying to steal. This is kicked out by 5 lengths. Leads out from Tosin Jordan. Then it's 2 away to Gentle Donna, followed by Salemia, who's handling it well at the moment. Then comes Phenomeno, Oken Bruce Lee, Rose Kingdom coming a little closer with Take. Tuck in behind them still is Sri Putra losing ground and pulling out and running on. Is all fair with a lot to do. Mount Athos well back with Jacobery. They swing for home. Beat Black trying to steal it. Leads out by 5. Tosin Jordan does the chasing. Here comes Orfev. Gentle Donna might be gone along the fence, but is starting to pick up again. They're starting to catch Beat Black. Orfev is running on. Here's Asian Flash as well. And Phenomeno is there as well. Still whacking away. Beat Black is starting to shorten stride. Gentle Donna pushes his way through on her. And it's Gentle Donna and Orfev. Gentle Donna, Orfev. Orfev, Gentle Donna. It's head-to-head. Gentle Donna, Orfev. Gentle Donna wins the cup. Orfev got second. Maybe Rulership for third. Just beat out Dark Shadow. Then a gap back to Phenomeno, Tosin Jordan, Red Cadeau, the best of the overseas runners from Beat Black, then Asian Flash, Jaguar Mail, then Mount Athos, Salemia, Jackalbury, well back. It was a bump of the rump from Gentle Donna. The margin is a half.
And just 1 second outside the race record set by Alcopop. Behind the barriers for the Vars. It's a good race, isn't it? Dunedin. On course, he is 2.2 in the favourite. Meandra, $13. Overs. On course, 6.2. Red Cadeau, there'll be plenty of Red Cadeau fans out there. 9.4 on the local market. This promising 3-year-old Bay Rear. It's Dunedin. Craig Williams for Mikel des Anglers into 210 now. So Dunedin really heavily back to take out the first of our features, the first of the big group ones on Hong Kong's International Day. They are behind the barriers for the Vars. They are right on.
Crash back. They're often racing in the mile and a half contest, and the favourite Dunedin left well together with Dancing Rain. And the Liberator's being pushed out to get right on the speed, but Dancing Rain goes forward and crosses down to the rails from Liberator, who continues to roll on. Bayre settles third, the fence. Joshua Tree fourth, has cover in the early part as Liberator doesn't press on here. Marwing's got a pretty good hold on him, so he's going to park outside the leader. Dunedin, the favourite, winds up fifth in the nose roll. He's travelling strongly for Williams. Red Cadeau's gone down to the fence. Then Dandino from Jaguar. Second last, Bagheera. And boy, Chinchon, he hasn't picked up any ground at all. So this field is well strung out as they travel to the turn. And Murtaugh starts to up the tempo a little bit. He gets over the neck of Dancing Rain at the 600 metres. Races a length and a half now on Joshua Tree. Then Liberator from Red Cadeau. Williams gets going on Dunedin. White pulled out in front of him on Jaguar Mail. Red Cadeau's gone off the bridle. Bayre further back and Liberator on the fence. Dancing Rain, she wants to lay it under pressure. And Jaguar Mail races to the lead. Dunedin's got to dig in. It's Jaguar Mail from Red Cadeau who goes underneath him. Red Cadeau going after Jaguar Mail. Meandre third. Dunedin can't go on. Jaguar Mail, the 8-year-old, he lays in on Red Cadeau. Mosse getting serious on Red Cadeau and he lifts. And Red Cadeau beats Jaguar Mail, who was game in defeat. Meandre third. Liberator next from Dunedin. They're followed by Bay Rare from Dancing Rain, then Joshua Tree from Dandino, Scala Camellia, Bagheera, and Chinchon was always back last. It's another international success for Gerard Mosse. Boy, Gerard can fire on the big days. He was on the rails early, but you could see he really wanted to get off, and he put him in the ideal position. Placed in the Vars last year, and him and Jaguar Mail have drawn clear to fight it out. What a game effort by Jaguar Mail. That's the best he's gone in 2 years.
That they are. 105.50. Well done, Joe. Tipping Red Cadeau there. $129 a place. $97 there for 10.
Yes, for this big race from Hong Kong. It's the sprint. Best of luck to all concerned here with their outstanding mare, Sea Siren. Lucky 9, the favourite, 3.3 on course. Let's go back trackside to Sha Tin for race 5. This is the sprint.
Show off date. They've got to get it right. This is the international stage, and they can show to the world what the people here know and the people back home in their own jurisdictions know. At a window, but you're too busy here joining us, Press. But no, it's going to be a great race, isn't it? And
I can't help but feel this price is going to crash down in the last minute of betting Sea Siren. It's just dramatically over the odds. Lord Kanaloa, the Japanese sprinter, he's come up very short and remains at 4.9. And the favourite, Lucky 9, goes in. Sea Siren will jump at 7-1. And we're all set. The 2012 Longines Sprint. And the gates crash back. They're racing. Joy and Fun missed it. So did Curran Chan. She's going to settle last. Cerise Cherry jumped well. So did Lord Kanaloa. Sea Sirens come out 3 wide and Captain Sweet's on the fence. Leading City beaten for speed. And he's driving through the pack going forward. Joy and Fun over racing. White's come one off the fence on time after time and Sea Siren 3 wide. Further back in the field than on the inside is Curran Chan from Admiration. Super Easy's caught 3 wide. Lucky 9 taken back to second last and Flying Blues at the rear. Down the side and it's Cerise Cherry being eyeballed now by Leading City at 12, but he musters.
Tucked in third on the inside, Captain Sweet, Lord Kanaloa, easing out, Sea Siren forward as they turn. Time after time being called upon from Super Easy and Lucky Nine coming down the centre of the course. Cerise Cherry is the leader, trying to fend off Captain Sweet. Lord Kanaloa is going after the leader strongly now, and the Japanese sprinter, Lord Kaloa, draws level with Cerise Cherry. Then Captain Sweet, Lucky Nine can't get there, but Lord Kanaloa sprints away, and it's Japan's first victory in the Hong Kong sprint. Lord
French Breeder Jockey Club winner, and so he's got the form in the book.
The French baker owning San Noir, and the Queen, Her Majesty, has a runner here the first time in Hong Kong, Carlton House, en route now to Australia, where he'll join the Gay Waterhouse stable in Sydney. How do you rate his chances today, Al?
I think he'll go well in Australia. I think this is an interesting
Tree attack going in. Alcopop is set. The 8-year-old Australian. Alcopop is loading Zidane. They've got a team of 6 or 7 working on him. And the California Memory, easy to spot in the race, the grey. He's handling things very calmly out the back, waiting his turn. The gates open. Chadwick's got California Memory out nice, but Zidane pinged out. Zidane's going to lead comfortably. Dan Excel coming across, and California Memory's been able to land the position Chadwick would have desired. Third on the leader's back, turning out of the straight. Autumn Gold's handy. Foyer Blitz coming in, gets cover now, with Carlton House dropping down to the rails behind the favourite. Then Sonar from Irian, Joffre getting back from Alcopop, and Military Attack has been taken back to last. Pulls his way into a clear second. Foyer Blitz cuts loose. He was pulling, and the German moves up now, Foyer Blitz, to head off Dan Excel. Just keeping the pace a little bit more genuine. They click up 2.5 lengths clear from Autumn Gold, then Zidane. Irian coursing deep. California Memory back on the inside of Sonar. Then came Giofra. Carlton House has got shuffled back to third last. Then Military Attack and the Australian Alcopops last as they travel up to the turn. And Foyer Blitz is eyeballing Dan Excel. Zidane moves up 3 deep now. California Memory is inching closer on the inside, and Chubbuck looking for the run. Carlton House back on the fence. Sunar's got chasing to do. Autumn Gold's run his race. Then Irian and Military Attack. Dan Excel, he is the leader, but here comes California Memory. He's quickly descending on the scene, and Chubbuck shoots him away at the 150 from Dan Excel. Giofra storming home, but California Memory makes it back-to-back cup victories and goes into the history books for same. California Memory beats Giofra. Alcopop flew home to Longines for third with Dan Excel. Then Military Attack from Carlton House. Zidane next from Sanoir. Autumn Gold, and the last to finish was Foyer Blitz. It was all too easy. California Memory bolting in with the cup. The first horse to do it. And a California Memory, well ridden by Chadwick. He had him handy where most envisaged he would be in what appeared to be a slow run race today. And California Memory putting it away at the furlong. Giofra's run a great second, pulling a lot of ground off him. And Alcopop's come from last to get up to run third. California Memory will pay 20 and 55. Boy, Dan Excel's run a cheeky race, earning prize money in the fourth. California Memory putting it away at the furlong. Giofra's run a great second, pulling a lot of ground off him. And Alcopop's come from last to get up to run third. California Memory will pay $27 the win. Alcopop will return 55. Boy, Dan Excel's run a cheeky race, earning prize money in the fourth.